Okay.
Do y'all remember the swastika up here? Where does the swastika come from?
That was, oh no, I do know this. Hold on. Oh my God. Cause there was a whole thing behind what it like popped out of.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give up.
Well, the swastika comes from Eastern theology. It's a happy, peaceful symbol. Some talk about it come from Iran. Some talk about it come from India. There's debate exactly. These are all similar regions. Here's what's important about it. Hitler adopted the symbol, inverted it, and put it across all of their stuff and the branding. Right, this is supposed to be a symbol of peace and unity and all these good things, right? And he twisted it and made it you. What has the DSA done? What is their symbol? Oh, it's the rose and people shaking hands. How calm and clean. This is the thing that they do all the time. They adopt an unassuming, happy image that people are associated with. You know what's California associated with? Roses, the Rose Bowls in California. They call it the granddaddy of them all when you talk about college football. You're going to play a football game, one of the premier conference games, the college football games you can go to in a bowl game was the Rose Bowl. I think it's still the Rose Bowl in the college football system, but it's the granddaddy bowl, the Rose. DSA, a lot of support in California. So guess what they do? They adopt a symbol that most Californians are not going to think too much of. Most people are not going to think very much evil of the rose. What's wrong with the rose? The rose has historical connotations.
I can tell you what's wrong with the rose.
It's got thorns.
There you go. It fucking hurts it's pretty to look at, but it hurts to touch it. So to me, they're telling you exactly what they're about to do. It's pretty to look at that little piece of paper that says equal this for everyone and everybody's going to have free healthcare and bullshit and ridiculous stuff. But the minute you actually implement it, it's going to fucking hurt.
Yeah, and I think a good example is, I hope Fabian Liberty joins us because Fabian can vouch for this. The Fabian Society, what is their logo? Do you know?
No, I don't know that.
It's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Aha!
Fabians are very avidly libertarians. Why? They want to work within the society to get change towards libertarianism. Now, this is a opposite on the political spectrum, and I'm sure that Fabian's not going to like them comparing them to the DSA, but in this sense, they are similar. It's just like you said, it's a trap. They're telling you what you are while they're trying to subvert the current system. The Fabian Society, they're going to push more for libertarian and free capitalism stuff, which that's a good thing. Versus the DSA is talking about destroying us from within. They're going to sit here and look pretty, and they're going to say all these nice, affluent words and say all these happy, moral society policies. But in reality, they're very dangerous plant that will stab you the minute you try to fucking you do anything with it and prune it. So that's all we got for this.
Did anybody die watching the PowerPoint? I know death by PowerPoint can be rough sometimes. It hurts. I know. Are we gonna make it? How's your audience doing it? Did they survive that one?
My audience loves the PowerPoints.
They like PowerPoints?
Big fans. They like the PowerPoints. My audience is a big fan of evidence-based shit. They don't like to make points about shit without having to. In fact, I'm willing to ask my audience. A lot of times they go, someone says something in chat. What do you know what I say? I say, source me. And they'll give me 3 sources for the things they say because they know I'm not going to talk about it without having a source that I can read myself a lot of times when we're arguing. And I'm not saying that I go in chat for all the time, but sometimes chat will make a point. I know. Guys, educate yourselves. Get sources. Stop doing talking points. And next time y'all want to accuse me of not having sources or being a partisan, or not knowing the overall history like we did the other night, I want y'all to take something. Remember, all of these issues that happen are always much bigger, and they're based in history. The immigration crisis that happened with Morocco and Spain is the product of a larger overall thing. The problems in the Middle East is the product of a larger overall thing. All these things, the liberals, the lefties, all these people have made deals with pan-Arab socialists. They made deals with socialists of other kinds, and now the dividends are paying off to the socialists, and the liberals are realizing their error. And that's what's happening now. And I want y'all to realize this is not something that happens overnight. In Germany, it started. Goebbels and Hitler, they started it right after World War I. You had the beer hall putsch, and you have multiple other putsch, and you guess what you have? You have these people, figuring out that's not the way to do it, and they start working within the system, and over, and they build up. This is, once again, not an overnight thing, but they're doing the exact same thing where they gain power incrementally, and they move in, and they take over the parties from within, and once there, they burn the system down.
Fair enough. All right, we got yeah, take your time. I'm going to read the super chats because they all like me anyways. They want to talk to me. But if you are in the crowd, and especially if you're a lefty liberal loser, according to Gibbs, then I want you backstage. Right meow. All y'all righties that are backstage might need to sit this one out for a hot minute and let the lefties come up first. Let the lefties come, do their thing. That's what Gibbs wants. Gibbs wants blood. He wants, come on, Ty, get up here. You must wait. No, Tiberius, get your ass up here. I already know your stances. You're kind of over the line there. I think you need to come defend yourself.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I want to hear it. I mean, I also don't mind. I know that some of these righties are going to be upset about the Zionism take, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, we could have the righties up too.
But really, the problem is these people, the righties that are upset about this, are parroting socialist talking points. So I guess they like socialism. It's just whatever.
All right, fair enough. We got Ayatin. She made me make a goal just for her. Because she wanted to make sure it counted. So if you check the goal, it's just because of Ayatin. She reminded me in the chat to make one. Thank you, Ayatin. She said, Tomato Tag, win Gibbs, win Sarah, and win Mater Nation. Yes, Mater Nation is the best thing since sliced bread. Calvin, why are you not backstage, actually? Come on, I know you want to play with this one. Gibbs debates need to come with closed captions. I agree. I 110% agree.
Listen, it's a respect thing. We talk fast because time is money, and people that talk slow don't respect your time.
Yes. No, I agree with that to a degree. Tom Carpenter says the Big 20 says Gibbs talks slow. Need to watch on 2X. Now you talk too slow, Gibbs. No way.
There's no winning. There's no winning. I talk too fast or I talk too slow.
And for the record, to those in the chat, your dono goal, you're running out of time. You better unfuck yourselves James, since the Big 10 says you can thank Ayatin for this. Yes, absolutely can. Absolutely we can. She's our darling baby buggy bugaboo who kindly reminds me in the chat to set my own goals because I forget sometimes. Nunny says DSA must stand for dumb, silly ass seems to fit. What do you think? Yes, no, maybe so. Dumb, silly. And Lobster sending in the 1,000 joules. I have no idea what that translates to in money terms, but goat trophy, I'm all about that. So I guess y'all got to see a goat trophy on the screen. That sounds kind of cool. All right, Mr. Admiral Gibbs, would you like to get a panel up here?
Yeah, bring them on in. Ask them if they're ready for the whoopings.
Are they ready for the whoopings? Or are you ready for the whoopings? Which way is this going down, Gibbs?
I mean, listen, I don't know when the last time I lost on your panel, one of your open panels was, but it's never. So I'm pretty confident.
I love you so much. Fucking bring him on. Here we go. All right, gentlemen. I got two more in the back. Oops, sorry. I'm going to put you there. I'll put me there. What?
Also, real quick for the super chat, listen, the frogs are turning the socialists gay. I'm sorry. We have to do that.
They really
the gays are turning the socialist frogs.
Yeah, we were talking about the vampire economy. We should have been talking about the vampire slave colonies on Mars. Lord and Lord, brothers.
We're going to suck all the blood out of the housing industry. There's nothing we can do about it. There's too many immigrants. Every time you turn around, they try to take another $1.
Oh, goodness. All right, you all get it out of your system. Now everybody's muting up, except, of course, whoever I call on. We're going in round robin style on asking Gibbs question and poking some holes. I do have two more we all know Spin's a fake right-winger, but I think he's really a Democrat. But we got two more back there, so if any of you are fucking up, I'm just going to boot you and bring somebody else up. But then, of course, we move into the full gauntlet mode later. All right, Mr. Caledonian Elixir, welcome, sir. I hear you've caused me a lot of problems. Apparently, I'm just to be blamed for everything that you've
Apparently, we also look alike.
Apparently. All your fault.
Yeah,
all your fault.
Apparently, AI images of us are the same. Apparently.
A grown-ass man making decisions on his own, and somehow there's a woman behind it. Amazing. But Caledonian, go ahead, start grilling Gibbs. What you got for him? Questions, comments, fuck yous, whatever you want.
Okay, so the way I see it is the Third Reich didn't operate solely as a socialized economy. It also operated in a financial nexus that included Deutsche Bank, the Reichsbank, President Hjalmar Schacht, coordinating with, for example, the BIS, which is the Bank of International Settlements, US Chase Bank, US Standard Oil. And when most people think about the Third Reich, they overlook what happened previous to it, the Weimar Republic, when Germany existed in a broken economy, massive inflation. So think about this, how did Germany go from a nation broken in ruins to a nation with the largest military in Europe, a military juggernaut that was essentially built in world domination, right? Well, it was because just a few years before, the US financial institutions with its apex nexus in Basel, Switzerland, the BIS, coordinated with a cartel of central banks to invest in the Third Reich. And then you had the corporate connection, IG Farben, with American IG, US Standard Oil, Ford. And it was this banking nexus, not socialism, that built the German army, that built the Third Reich, and it enabled it to steamroll into US capitals. And all that gold, all that treasure, that was sent to the BIS, that acted as essentially as a middleman, paying down German reparations. Right, so my first question is, right, what was the dominant part of the German economy under the Third Reich?
That's real simple. If we actually look at history, we can see once again, all of what you're saying is semi-true, but it's really a mask. Because once again, as we looked at throughout the demonstration, the PowerPoint I made, they cover all these different economic policies. But the biggest one that gained in money is twofold. One, Germany is one of the only socialist countries that we argue would have worked with an economy. Why is that? Because they do a total war economy. And one thing about the Nazis is if they put a gun to your head and say work, you're going to probably go work, right? So they go out and you do this. And you have, remember, these people are not getting paid more. You have wage control, so they're working basically as slaves, very underpaid. Then you have a large group of people who, I don't know if you remember, what was the reason why the Jews got kicked out of how many countries? Oh, it was the banking system, which is what you were just talking about, and usury. And so what did they do in Germany and Austria and all the countries where they had Jews? They killed them. They took the resources, not just in Germany, but in Austria, in Denmark, in Norway, in France. They did this over and over, and by the end of the Third Reich, part of the reason why their industry was failing and they couldn't produce the higher-end Tiger tanks, they couldn't produce the Navy ships anymore, is not because they didn't have the production means, it's because they didn't have the money, because they started contracting, and like most empires built on total war, you have to always be expanding to gain. And after you've killed all the Jews and you've killed all these other immigrant groups that were not as wealthy, but you still took their money, guess what? You suddenly don't have any more money, and that's why they started failing. And part of the reason why many average soldiers threw down their arms. Because guess what? If the SS can't kill you,
okay, can I come back? Can I come back to that? You were right. It was the German military-industrial sector, right? So how did German commercial banks with the BIS finance that rearmament and that cross-border capital?
How did they do it? Once again, they renegotiated these terms all over the place. They fought the globalist elite. We see this over and over. They rebelled.
No, they literally were the globalist elite. Heidelberg Skat had connections with like American IG.
Like Ford, right? Like you had Ford,
Morgenthau,
and were they both potentially Nazis? Ford was for sure. In fact, Ford and Prescott Bush threw a coup, right? So and they were national. So you're arguing. What you're arguing is that Nazis in cahoots in other countries were helping fund their military-industrial complex while simultaneously taking the money from the Jews, the banking system, and implementing it. Well, that's what happened. I mean, it's unarguable what happened. I have 4 economists.
Weird how reality does it represent.
I mean, I quoted 4.
One at a time, gentlemen. It is the Q&A. Down it just a notch.
I'm saying that Nazi Germany was established through military-industrial rearmament financed by central banks in order for Germany to pay down World War I reparations and investment done at the start of the Third Reich's emergence. So that was what it was all about.
Right.
That's why, for example, you had the Hashawite Kingdom fall because the BIS and the central banks wanted to move into there, and then they wanted to move into Germany, and that's how the Third Reich emerged. And then they wanted to move into Soviet Russia, and that's why they got Germany to attack Russia. And you see, pre-war, during war, and after the war, that central bank nexus that included Britain, the BIS in Basel, Switzerland, and America existed before the war and still exists today.
Well, hold on. The central banking system worked against the Germans once the Germans started getting.
No, they didn't. The central banking
they absolutely
system
did. They absolutely did. Hold on. This is really funny. You're actually confusing 2 conspiracy theories. There's a major conspiracy. There absolutely is. The major conspiracy theory is the reasons why we fought the war with Germany. Once again, is because the Rothschilds weren't in cahoots with them anymore, and they were taking out the Rothschilds. I'm sure, but that's part of it. Is once again the Jewish banking system, which the Germans were fighting against. And once again, you still haven't refuted the fact that I have 4, one being an economic historian, one being a Nobel Prize winning economist, and 2 other economists, all basically say the exact reason they're able to accomplish all these things is while going against the central banking system controlled by the Jews is by expanding through wartime aggression and simultaneously centralizing control of power with the economic system and putting all these people in power, taking away the rights of these people, and simultaneously taking the money and the income and the property away from anybody that fought against them, specifically the Jewish banking class.
You're the
and
only
the
one
world
mentioning the Jews. You've mentioned the Jews about
because this is important to the conversation.
No, it's not. They're not
it's absolutely
the conversation. I'm
well,
talking
then you're just denying history.
International settlements. No, I'm talking about Reichsbank.
But you're saying I can't find any quotes or any policy talking about the worldwide Jewish global.
Reichsbank President Stadt, the Bank of International Settlements, and IG Farben. What role did these people and organizations play in the creation of the Third Reich and financing German rearmament?
Yeah, I mean, once again, actually, I just looked this up real simple. The exact thing you're talking about right now is referred to in economic theory, specifically May's Business School is publishing this. So once again, here's a source. It's saying this is called what Caldonian, Mr. Elixir over here is spouting. This is what they call, and I quote, the dual finance myth of centralized banking worldwide. So what you're talking about is literally a myth in economic theory, while I'm sitting here talking about hard, verifiable fact.
So the Bank of International Settlements, that isn't a central bank that serves to coordinate with other central banks around the world. And they didn't finance Germany in the 1930s.
All sorts of people financed them. You know, the Pope. The Pope also backed Hitler. You think that you said all Catholics? You said
one at a time.
You said all Catholics backed Hitler because one bank went along with him that might have been centralized and terrified for their lives? Oh, well, that seems to be what you're saying. You're trying to apply one example and make it a whole story when I'm giving you different various supporting evidence and facts that dispute what you're saying on a max level. I can give you tons of quotes and policies that go against.
Who was the Reichsbank president in the 1930s?
I don't have that name off the top of my head. I mean, I can tell you in a second if I pull up my notes here.
Okay, yeah, pull up your notes.
I mean, there's multiple, I believe, because they changed who's in charge.
It was Jonas Stadt, right? And what connection did Stadt have with the BIS?
First I have from 1924 and 32. I have, it looks like Paul Loeb, and then we have.
No, I said during the Third Reich.
Okay, and then we had Hindenburg, who was removed.
I said during the Reichstag president. It was Stadt.
Okay, and so then who was after that? Who was after that Hindenburg was removed?
I said the Reichsbank president.
The Reichsbank. Oh, not the Reichstag. Okay, let me look that up here. I don't know, but I don't know what your point is. Okay, sure, but what's your point?
My point is Stadt operated in Germany and worked with the banks pre-war, during the war, and after the war to work with American banks and corporations to invest in Germany.
I'm like pulling my numbers up. Right. So once again, reading Goebbels' diaries, this just once again proves you wrong. I'm looking at Hermann Schmidt, first term during 23 to 1930, so not during your point, but the Reichstag Bank. Once again, he resigned because guess what? They didn't like the Young Plan, which is something the Nazis were avidly against. Oh, surprise! Then we have Hans Luther to 33. He failed because of the Great Depression, so I'll grant that one. Oh, then we have Reich Schmidt. That's what you're talking about. Oh, he wanted to do. Oh, interesting. These are the quotes. He backed the deceptive methyl bills and backed the state's early nationalist economic policies, and he was dismissed in 1939 due to the escalating disputes over military spending and disputes with Hitler's inner regime, specifically Himmler and Goebbels. Interesting that the same two people pushed him out that have been avid that they weren't socialist enough the whole time. So this really kind of puts an egg in your salad, brother. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, they literally invested and financed German rearmament, and you got to question, maybe ask, why did they do that?
Yeah, because they're
why did Stadt and a cartel
country
of central banks set up the BIS in order to invest in the Third Reich to start rearmament? Why did they do that?
Yeah, well, it's very simple. It's very simple. All right.
What has it got to do with socialism?
Well, it does have a lot to do with socialism.
We're talking about a nexus, a cartel of central banks.
How did the United States? When was the closest time for the United States to get into socialism? Was it under FDR? It was under FDR. How did we get powerful? We invested in public works, in armament programs. Oh, wow. Lordy, you're fucking repeating the exact same plans that the socialists were trying to implement here. So you're once again the things you're pointing to prove my point.
Not socialism.
I'm talking about socialism. Maybe you're here from the wrong panel.
I don't think you know the difference between socialism and central banks.
I do know this. I'm pointing out that the policies you're talking about prove my point.
What is the difference between a cartel of central banks and socialism?
A cartel of central banks would be a cartel, would be a group of banks getting together to implement certain laws and regulations to implement that benefit banking and banking laws. Would you agree with that statement?
And it was that cartel that invested in the rearmament of the German military, wasn't it?
Sure.
Was it?
Did it make them money?
Was it that cartel of central banks that invested in Nazi Germany to essentially fund the rearmament? Was it?
Was Hugo Boss a private company?
No, answer the question.
I am. Yeah, so my point is, once again,
no, I don't think a point. Answer
they absolutely did that because they make money and take advantage of a volatile situation, and then they got bamboozled. This happens all the time. I don't know why you're shocked about that.
And how would they make back that money?
Well, did they make back that money?
Yes.
Oh, did they? That's interesting because they didn't make back that money because they fell apart to rapid inflation after the war. So you don't know what you're talking about.
Money. They did make back that money through the BIS. How did the BIS serve as an institution that basically sent back?
What happened? What happened to the Reichsbank in 1945?
What happened to what happened?
That's important, right?
Germany's estate collapsed in 1945, didn't it?
So the Reichsbank, the central worldwide authority, are part of this cabal of central worldwide banks, right? That you just said.
I didn't say the Reichsbank.
No, you did just say that. You said it was the liaison, and now, guess what happened? They fell apart, and they're gone. They don't exist. So it sounds like once again, this is all arguments of convenience and nothing substantive. Because once again, I've laid out multiple points over and over again. And facts. Yeah, it wasn't convenient because it fell apart. They didn't make any money. There was no more money to be
they
made.
made a lot of money. IG Farben, American IG, American Standard Oil. These people made a shit ton of money.
Yeah. I mean, Standard Oil made a lot of money because they're selling to everybody. That doesn't prove your point. That doesn't make them not socialists. The whole point of this panel is the Nazis were socialists, not that they fucking used the system to get what they wanted until they couldn't.
They weren't socialist Nazis. I'm saying that the Third Reich basically was built by a banking nexus that funded the rearmament, that invested in Nazi Germany in order for Nazi Germany to invade and attack other countries that would pay down the reparations.
You know what? I'll even grant all of that. Here's the problem with your argument, right? I disagree with a lot of it, but let's just grant all of that for the sake of argument. Here's the problem with what you're saying. Even if you're 100% correct, what I have been arguing this whole time is that the Nazi Germans, they got into power through doing one thing. They get in there and then they immediately use the system that's in place to implement their system by de facto power, right? So they may have used your system that you're talking about. I disagree with the way you're describing it being used, but let's just say they did it. They still use that system in order to implement socialist policies and socialist economic gains, right? And so then what are we arguing about?
I told you what, I'm different with you. The Third Reich essentially was built by a banking nexus in order to fund rearmament. So the whole purpose of the Third Reich was for Germany to repay the reparations that it owed because of World War I and because the transition from the Weimar Republic to the Third Reich happened because Germany owed all these central banks throughout the world a sum of money that they couldn't pay. And the only way they could repay down that investment was to invade other countries. And that's what they did with their gold and their loot and their treasure. They repaid all those other central banks.
Right, and you're right. I would agree with that. That's the most part of the analysis I agree with completely. But here's the thing, right? And this is kind of why I keep saying this. They're the only socialist country that's ever worked because they went to a total war economy with your armament plan. And then what did they do? Once they stopped being able to gain ground, they started falling apart. So, I mean, even if I grant you all the part where you disagree with me, it's still like a distinction without a difference because it leads to the same outcome. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, because my whole argument is they used the system that was in place, subverted it, and put the socialism in place to replace the current capitalist economic system that was controlled by the Jews, in their opinion, right? And so, even if they did exactly what you said, which I mean, we could get into like the weeds if you wanted. Like, the end result is socialism.
And let's one more quick response from Caledonian, and then Gibbs. You'll have a final word, and then we'll move on to effigy. That way, we can get everybody in, and then of course we'll do open panel later.
I just want to say I think there are parallels with the US political system in Nazi Germany, right? The Third Reich, but not because of socialism, but because that same banking nexus that funded rearmament, that created Nazi Germany, that same banking nexus exists today. And it is still integrated with the US financial system today. And we're talking about Chase Manhattan Bank. We're talking about the BIS. All of those institutions that built the Third Reich, they still exist today. And that's a threat to the US, not socialism.
Well, I would agree with that. It's affecting the US, but I think it's part of the reason we're heading towards socialism gaining power within the Democratic Party. But we could get into that more, I think, in a bit.
Perfect. And speaking of banks, chat, you still have a dono goal that you do need to meet, or else after we do this Q&A, we're not going to make it to the gauntlet, and I'm going to go get some other work done that I got to do. So it's up to you. All right, effigy. I know you got so much to say, especially you going hog wild in the chat. So what you got for us, sir?
I do. I have a lot to say, and I'm just going to say it. I was going to ask Gibbs some questions, but I don't want to get Gibbs galloped like Caledonian Gibb.
We're still at Kel's lines now.
So I'm just going to slap this thing out here. So first of all, this is like the only one revising anything Gibbs here is you. As far like they're just some basic questions you ask. You don't really have to get super deep into it. Did they preserve private property and corporate ownership in any fashion, or did they abolish it? They preserved it, even if you had to be a certain race or whatever. They preserved it. After they took power, was there a mass privatization or was there a mass nationalization of assets? There was a mass privatization. The Nazis sold off a shitload of companies, a shitload of steel mills, a shitload of shares of major companies. They sold that shit off to private hands in their party. Privatization. Did they retain profit?
Where did they sell it to? Where did they sell it to, effigy?
They sold it to private hands of party members.
Oh, okay. Just making sure I heard that right.
Yeah, not members of the government, party members. There's a big difference. Like, definitions matter. So also there was a retention of profit motive and capital gains, like Caledonian just mentioned. A shitload of companies, IG Farben, Krupp, Siemens, Diamond Benz, they all had profits. They all paid out dividends. They had profitable state contracts. All this shit still happened. None of this would happen under a socialist thing. You mentioned the destruction of the trade unions. The German labor front that they forced all the workers into was not a fucking union, dude. It was a control mechanism that froze their wages and then stripped them of labor bargaining power, basically ensuring profits of their employers. Next, the easiest one, they fucking killed all the lefties. They fucking killed them.
Just real quick, Energy. What
happened on the night of the long knives?
Sure, I agree.
Killed on the night of the long knives.
Yeah, anybody that was not socialist enough. So not just like
no.
Real quick.
Goebbels' definition of socialist at that point had changed because he switched to Hitler in 1926.
Just a real quick question, because since you're bringing this up, can you tell me what happened to anybody that wasn't a Stalinist after Lenin died in Russia?
And your point?
Well, because we don't not call Stalin a communist, right? He's a communist. You would agree, correct?
Sure.
All right. So what about, I don't know.
The
fucking communists he killed.
At this point in the party, there were left-wingers and there were more right-wingers.
So Stalin can kill all the other communists and still be a communist, but the socialists, Goebbels and Hess and them can kill all the other socialists that weren't social enough and not be socialists. That's called
because they didn't believe the same things.
Oh, so there's different kinds of socialism.
In National Socialism, they were faking out a bunch of fucking people. And they were getting people who believed diametrically opposed opinions, which is why they had to purge the fucking party in 1934 and kill everyone who believed in anti-capitalism and socialism.
No, they didn't kill anybody that was anti-capitalist. They killed the people that weren't socialist.
They killed a shitload of anti-capitalists.
Here's the point. Let me give you a hypothetical here, because you did this really interesting thing a little bit ago. Right, where you said they sold it to party members. All right, so let's say right here, we're a country. How many of us? Eight of us, okay? And Mr. Elixir, he's I don't know, he's part of the Bob Saget party, and Duck over here, he's part of the Gibbs party, and I take over, okay? And you own a business, okay? And I say, all right, I'm going to take your business unless you join the Gibbs party, Mr. Elixir. Would you say that is a government way of government control? When I send Duck in there with the guns to take the business from Elixir and say, if you don't join the party, we're going to privatize it and sell it to a different party member. Would you say that's government control or not government control?
There is a form of controlled capitalism.
That's not okay, Gibbs. Real quick,
said that
Gibbs,
controlled capitalism
it's not okay to use
socialism.
me as an example.
Well,
Gibbs,
no, shut up, Duck. Shut up, Duck.
I don't understand this.
Shut up, Duck. You know
it's
the
not
drill.
okay to use
Robin.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Effigy.
All right, moving on. So also, what did these people espouse? What did the Nazis espouse? They espoused reactionary conservatism. They espoused traditional gender roles. They were aggressively promoting traditional patriarchal family structures. They one of their favorite phrases was "children, kitchen, church" because they wanted to increase national birth rate. Sound fucking familiar? They suppressed modern art. They called it degenerate art. They attacked jazz, progressive literature, liberal academic institutions. They burned down the first transgender surgery clinic. They persecuted minorities. They were about racial purity. Like, come the fuck on. Does any of this sound left wing? They literally
all of this sounds
liberals in concentration camps.
Did you watch the PowerPoint? I don't know if you did, but there was a whole segment, we can pull it up again, about how being racist doesn't make you all right wing. I know that y'all try to push this as right wingers are the only ones who can be racist. Let's look at Juche, for example. Their idea is that North Korean race is the superior race and is part of their Juche, and they actively persecute minorities that aren't North Korean. So when you say that left wing, that right wing, that racism is inherently right wing in the manner that you're trying to do, you're just fundamentally incorrect. So I'm sitting here hearing these things. Yeah, and this kind of goes with the other thing where I'm talking about they gave lip service to Christianity, but then simultaneously depowered any Christian organization that went against them. And they even fundamentally held
the Pope. They had God is with us on their fucking uniforms.
Where's the Pope? Where's the Pope located? What city?
I don't know. Did he move?
The Vatican, right? Mm-hmm. Who controlled the Vatican and Italy at the time? Was it Mussolini who was famous for killing people?
The entire German army.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Were they all Catholic?
They were Lutheran and Catholic.
They were Lutheran and Catholic, correct? Okay. And so would it behoove them initially in the first wave of socialism while they're fighting out in the war to really fight the war? Or would it behoove them and say go against Catholics?
Socialism doesn't have any of the things I just listed.
Or would it behoove them to put a gun to the Pope's head and have him sign a treaty, which is what happened, and say this, and then have the Catholics not fight against any of the socialist policy and give lip service so the average German went along with it? Which is more likely what happened, considering we know what actually happened, and it's the second thing, not the first thing that you're describing. Are you disputing they held a gun to the Pope's head and made him sign the treaty?
Did they literally hold a gun to the Pope's head?
There's been discussions that might have been actually what happened. Yeah, Mussolini. Are you gonna tell Mussolini that you're not gonna do whatever him and Hitler want while he's got two of the biggest armies in the world around you?
I guess it would depend on whether or not the Pope believes his religion or not, right?
Well,
if he's willing to die for his beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, because we know that the popes have never been corrupt in an entire time in history, and the Catholics have never done anything such ever.
Maybe I've got a higher ideal of what a Christian is than you do.
Sure. You might. I have a very low ideal for what Christians are. So, as a Christian, so yeah, I suspect that the Pope was a baby back bitch and bent over for him.
Fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and move on. And to my chat, you had better unfuck yourselves before we get to Mr. Balderson, who can and will very much be the last person to speak here this evening, and no gauntlet. I'm going to leave it up to you to decide what you would like to do. Duck, go ahead. What you got for us, sir?
All right. So just the point I'm not understanding from Gibbs is that Adolf Hitler literally turned Hamburg, Dresden, Berlin, and Cologne into civilian cities defended by generals, right? So this is not something unaware to Adolf Hitler. He turned cities into places that had to have generals that he was executing, actively executing and imprisoning them, defending these cities that ended up getting firebombed. And so what I'm wondering is, are you okay? And what the fuck did you drink before you came on panel today, Gibbs? You're drawing economic conclusions about someone who is psychopathic. Many people who are psychopathic and idiots and morons, Gibbs.
Yeah, I am drawing economic conclusions based off the policies they implemented. I mean, I'm not going to disagree they're psychopathic and evil, but they implemented policy as a ruling government body, and their policy is unequivocally socialist. Do you disagree with that?
No, but
no, you don't disagree with that. Okay, good.
What I don't understand is if you had a city that
you cut out.
Yeah,
was literally served, and then you're suddenly getting firebombed, and yeah.
What is the firebombing?
Yeah, so I mean it's the same argument I said the first time.
Yeah, but what is the argument? Is that the firebombing?
The link to firebombing and socialism? I don't know. That's your job, right? You know, I'm just watching. You know, if I'm watching history, I'm watching Nazis be Nazis, not really be that good at the things they did. I don't understand the link between socialism and firebombing, but you're asking me to draw that conclusion. I don't understand it.
Are you talking about what I'm talking about, the firebombing of Japan? Are you confused about what I was talking about there? Because those are separate things, and I was talking about why revisionist history came to be.
I am confused.
People did, so we were threatening to firebomb Japan further to the point that they ceased to exist. And part of what we did instead is once they surrendered, is we took Operation Paperclip and took people from both Japan and Germany to implement our science and our economic divisions, right? And what we did was we have these evil people.
Okay.
What do? You go on a public reform program, PR, right? And so what do they go and what do? They put out public relations, they put out good slime, and that's part of the revisionist history that I was talking about. That would be, I guess, the link to the firebombing portion that you're talking about. They did. I don't know how I would call what they did in Germany firebombing. That was they didn't really have wood houses. They bombed them. Are you understanding?
So, and I don't mean to sound sarcastic, but do you think? Yeah, I don't mean to sound sarcastic, but this might clarify it. So, do you see the socialists that got firebombed while Hitler was assassinating generals in Germany as victims? Or do you see Japan, and maybe Japan or Operation Paperclip, like you were saying, do you see those guys as victims? I'm still trying to hone in on what you're trying to say here.
Well, I would say arguably Operation Paperclip, none of those guys are victims. They got the fucking free pass out of jail. That's what they got, right? But as far as the people that got bombed, yeah, they were victims of being in a evil country with an evil leadership that they empowered. And whenever you empower the devil, just like what the libs are doing to the DSA, don't be surprised when the devil cashes in that deal and takes your soul.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, but we do know again that like Hamburg, Berlin were major cities. So that's my point is that you're talking about somebody that couldn't stop major cities from being under control of Nazi generals, executing those generals, and then getting firebombed. That's the kind of room that I'm in, and just to be clear, that's it as well.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Doc. Let's move it on to DK Dickspiracy. That's what we called him last time, I think, right? Did we call you that last time? But DK Spiracy, go ahead with your question to Gibbs or comment.
All right. Okay. So first of all, it was actually the Jews who declared war on the Germans. It was not the Germans who started the war. The Jews had been declaring war against the Germans for years, worldwide, internationally, before the war started. And you're trying to say it's the Germans?
You're way too far away from your mic, bro. Nobody can hear you.
Dude, come on, man. That's a known fact. That's a known fact. So basically, you are lying to everyone in the first place. See, that's something you can't actually even go against. You know for a fact there are headlines worldwide, internationally, with Judea declares war against Germans. That is an actual thing. You cannot dispute that. Right. Point number 2. You made some silly comment about how if people aren't pro-Jew, they must be pro-Muslim. Nope. Fuck both of you.
It's not what I said.
No, it was what you said.
And what I said was,
if they weren't for Israel, they must be pro-Muslim.
No, that's not what I said. No, what I said was,
in the middle of your complete rant earlier
I'm sure I can give you my exact
I wrote
words.
it down.
Good. My exact quotes were that y'all believe a pan-Arab socialist talking point, and y'all were Muslim cucks and bitches for believing the pan-Arab socialist talking point. Those were my exact words.
No, they weren't.
Oh, they weren't? Clay said those were my exact words. So I guess other people heard me.
Saying what were your exact words. Those were not your exact words.
They were pretty much my exact words, is what I just said.
So now they were pretty much your exact words. You got pretty much and exact in the same sentence.
Okay, well, I said it multiple different ways in the same exact sentence. Right?
No, it's not. That's not pretty much exact.
All right. What is confusing to you about this statement? The conservatives that are anti-Zionist and are put for the reasons of anti-Zion genocide and war shit are pushing pan-Arab socialist talking points. What about that sentence is confusing to you? Because I said that several times with that wording or exact words.
That's not what I wrote down, brother.
Well, I can't help that you need to get your hearing aids.
You can't help that I wrote down what you said. Okay.
I mean, listen, I do know there's this cool thing called AI, and after this, we could use the AI to transcribe it, and it's going to say exactly what I said.
That talking fast means you're always right.
I didn't say that. I mean, listen, brother, I'm sorry that you got confused on my wording.
Talking and talk over people, it makes you right. No, it doesn't. It just makes you a fucking mouthpiece.
That's right.
Point number 3.
Okay.
You brought up something about Soros funding who? You said Soros funded the Germans. No,
that's
Soros
not what I said.
Was a Jew who
that's what I said.
He worked for the Jews.
No, I literally said that.
He worked for the Germans and helped knock on his neighbors and raid other Jews' families.
That's what I said.
He didn't do it, because if he didn't do it, someone else would.
Are you watching the same show as what I just did? I literally verbatim said that. Like,
yeah, but that's the Jewish mentality. It's like, if I don't steal off someone else,
who are you arguing with?
I've got to steal first.
That's what you saying the thing I said, and then you're saying I didn't say it.
I'm saying it is Jewish mentality, my friend. The Jews will steal off everyone with the mentality that if I don't do it, someone else will anyway.
Guys, are we living in real time?
Our mentality. I have to steal first, because otherwise someone else will steal.
All right, I just.
Why do you think everyone is a thief like you?
I literally I just want to reiterate that I literally said verbatim, and this is once again, we can go back and check the tape. I said Soros was a Jew that worked with the Nazis, and he's pushed Nazi policy through donations worldwide, specifically and especially in the United States. And I'll summarize a little bit because I said a lot more about it.
Full of shit. He promotes Jewish policy and Zionist shit. He doesn't promote Nazi anything. And by the way, the word Nazi.
Wait, you just said he was ratting other Jews out, right?
No. By the way, the word Nazi comes from Ashkenazi. You projected your own derogatory term onto a different group of people.
The Nazi comes from the National Socialist Workers' Party.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. The Germans never called themselves Nazis. The Jews called them Nazis.
When y'all were asking what I did before this panel, y'all need to ask him what he was doing before this
panel. Time in a couple of minutes.
Listen, I've taken ecstasy before, and it seems like you're having a hallucination.
Oh, goodness.
You're right. You're not.
Mm-hmm.
You have
all right.
So much that's wrong and correct. And
this sounds like a good one to move off of. DK, thank you for your kind contribution. Darth Thorains.
Hey.
What you got for us?
Am I coming in loud and clear?
You are very clear too, actually.
Okay, so yeah, Mr. Gibbs, that was a boomer ass take. For example, this is propaganda from like 2016, and let me give you an example. Mr. Gibbs just stated that George Soros collaborated with I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that word. Can I? The N word. The
Nazi?
I mean, I've said Nazi many times. I hope we're able to say it.
Okay. So yeah, this is like propaganda from like back in 2016. Now, Mr. Gibbs talked about he has resources. Mr. Gibbs, present us the resource in which George Soros collaborated with the Nazis.
If you just listen to DK Spears, he just told you what he did.
That's not true. Now you present your resource.
My resource is where was he born?
You made it the fuck up.
No, I didn't. I could.
Yes, you did.
How about AP News?
That's literally a myth and a hoax from 2016. I remember this bullshit.
Well, this has been a common theme for many years. AP News.
It's bullshit.
We've had AP News has reported many times that he was somebody that was in.
Where's your resource, man?
You understand what AP News is? Associated Press?
Here's the fact. He was fucking 14 years old at the time of the Nazis.
That's true.
Which makes us incapable of him actually collaborating with the Nazis.
Well, that's not true.
This is a dog shit hoax myth perpetuated of fucking baby boomers.
No, let me ask you a question real quick. All right. What's the Hitler?
No. First, admit you were wrong there. Admit that you were wrong. Okay, you're not willing to admit you're wrong. Got it.
No, because I'm not wrong. Let me ask you.
Take the L, Mr. Gibbs. Take the L.
Did I earlier, when I was in my speech, in fact, I can even go to the slide if I need to, talk about how the Hitler Youth, along with armed guards, was going around and they would report.
Gish Gallop Gibbons.
No, I did say this, right? Is this correct? Did I say
Gish Galloping?
No, hold on. You just said
Gish Gallop.
Just let him talk.
Well,
okay. He's the guest. He can Gish Gallop. He can Gibbs Gallop.
Yeah. Well, it's real simple. This man just in here. He said he couldn't do anything. He was 14. My statement about Soros was, as DK reiterated and said I didn't say for some reason, was that he was a Jew who was in occupied Hungary, right, by the Germans, and I said he basically did anything to survive, which up to, and many rumors, including some reported by the Associated Press, which is a reputable news agency.
Sorry, I got to correct you on that.
All I'm hearing is you're admitting that you're wrong, Gibbs.
Right,
What
right.
part
Once
of
again,
mute yourself do you not understand?
The Associated Press is a reputable source, and they have stories out where they have said that it's been reported that he may have collaborated in order to stay alive during that time period with giving away other Jewish locations. Now, what adds further fuel to this fucking truth is, guess what? The Hitler Youth is well documented for even reporting their parents if they weren't up to Nazi standards. So not only do we have evidence that the youth was a weapon used and then militarized by the Fuhrer with that for this purpose, is we know this is a definitive fact. So what you're doing is you're denying that they did this over. It's not
the claim was that George Soros collaborated with the Nazis. You don't have a source for that.
I just gave you what the Associated Press, and
no, you have a myth.
Once again, the Associated Press is a reputable news source. And once again, you don't have any supporting evidence. While I have circumstantial evidence as well with the Hitler Youth being a prime arm of the Nazi power machine. Do you dispute that the Hitler Youth formed on all sorts of people? Is that a thing that occurred? Yes or no?
Gibbs, Google. Did Soros collaborate with the Nazis? The answer is no.
Cool.
Take the L, Gibbs.
If you Google,
take the L, stop trying to get scalloped.
If you Google, if the Nazis
I don't care about the Nazi youth collaborating with the Nazis.
You don't care about facts, though. That's the problem. You
don't care about facts. This is just copium. You don't want to admit that you're wrong.
I gave you a source.
This is copium. Anyways, yeah, let's move on. Let's move on from this L. Let's give you another L.
This guy probably believes Snopes is a good fact.
Bro, this is just boomer takes.
It's not a boomer take. I actually have sources. You have zero. So hold on. I just want to point out once again his source, and he's not willing to engage.
You don't have a source.
No, I just gave you an Associated Press. Once again, I said multiple times.
Not a source.
The Associated Press is not a source. Are you retarded?
All they're saying is it is possible that maybe George Soros collaborated, but we're making this shit up. We're literally making it up.
That the Associated
Press
not
a source.
The Associated Press is considered one of the most reputable news sources worldwide by both the left and
nobody.
And secondly, you have not been able to refute an actual historical fact, which is that the Hitler Youth and the National Youth in Germany,
red herring.
That's not red herring. It's a direct correlation. Red herring. We're talking about. You just said a 14-year-old. I know you don't care because you hate facts.
No, because you don't have a source for George Soros collaborating with the Nazis.
The Associated Press. Once again, the Associated Press. I've said this. How many times I've said this now? I'm gonna start turning this to a drinking game. Every time I have to give a source that he denies.
You don't have a source. That's the problem.
Associated Press. Once again,
that's not a source, man.
Bro, everybody thinks the Associated Press. Who here thinks the Associated Press?
Fox News saying something doesn't make it true. Do you understand that? You boomer brained. You got a boomer brain.
News? Did you say Fox News? Oh, sorry.
That's the equivalent of saying boomer. That's the equivalent of saying Fox News said something, therefore it's true. That's
Nobody's saying that. The Associated Press is a reputable source. Once again, they have reported on it.
Who cares? They're quote-unquote a reputable source.
Secondly, people that care about how sources
need actual historical evidence.
Once again, okay, we do have historical evidence to the Hitler Youth, which
is of the age group. What's the historical evidence that George Soros collaborated with the Nazis?
We have of the age group that you've described, people in that age group.
That's not evidence that George Soros collaborated with the Nazis.
So we have an age group and an organization that does exactly what I said. And then we have George Soros being reported on by the
Associated Press
that did this.
I'm sorry, but I can't hear a fuck all of any of what either of you are saying because you're talking over each other. Yeah. I'm trying to eat my taco while I'm enjoying this.
I'm sure you are.
But I'd like to be able to enjoy it more.
Eat your taco.
Nice.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. Listen, I just got to say, whenever we get to the point where we're denying a historical fact that 14-year-olds...
You don't have any historical facts.
Listen, you can keep saying that. You can keep saying that. It's well documented by many, many sources.
It's literally the facts, man.
Hold on. All right, so you're disputing that your argument earlier, before you changed it now, and moved the goalpost, was that he was 14 and he couldn't have informed because he was a child. And I've given you, and you can look up this is well documented, that the Hitler Youth, which is full of 14-year-olds, was one of the major reasons the Nazis stayed in power because they acted as informants for the National Party. Then we have
fallacious reasoning.
No.
Then he was 14, the same age as the Nazis. He must have collaborated with the Nazis.
No, this just disproves your point.
Do I have to repeat myself? Take turns. Not that fucking hard.
Well, I mean, but the problem with what's happening today is I'm giving a circumstantial evidence backed up by a direct source, which is the Associated Press. So the circumstantial evidence, which refutes your claim that people at the age of 14 couldn't inform, and then we have the Associated Press articles, of which there are several, that have differing reports. Some say this didn't happen, some say it did, have reports of him being in occupied Hungary, being a 14-year-old Jew who is reported to have might have survived there by giving up other Jews. These are reports that we have from several different sources, other than the press, if you really want to dive into it. And so we have two pieces of evidence that support that this could have happened. Then we follow through with what Soros has pushed, which is socialist policies, and the picture kind of comes together. Now you're disputing.
Okay, now let me get this straight. Gibbs, let me get this straight. Your argument, the fact you're presenting that George Soros collaborated with the Nazis is that he was 14 years old. That's your entire evidence. Get the fuck out of here with that.
That was my entire evidence. Is that what you just took from the last?
That's literally what all you said. He was 14 years old, the same age as the Nazi youth, which means he must have been a Nazi.
I'm glad that you think you're getting the dunk, but you actually look like you.
Yeah, take the L, Gibbs. Take the L.
I mean, the only L I'm taking is the one that you've got right now, and I'm taking the dub.
That's kind of gay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about with gay. I'm talking about dubs, winning, and being correct, which I am fundamentally correct in this, and you're fundamentally wrong, and you don't know what a source is. The fact you don't know what the AP is a reputable source, and you're denying that and calling that boomer, and
stop peddling this boomer garbage, man. This might have worked back in 2016. It's not going to work on the youth of today.
Nobody's trying to work on the youth today except for the socialists because they want to corrupt and revise history. I'm sorry that you don't know how to tell what a primary source is, but that's something you maybe need to learn about. It's important.
Admiral, I'm an anti-Semite, but I'm not going to make bullshit about my enemy.
Yeah, I don't care about whether you're an anti-Semite, if you're anti-God, if you're anti-whatever. The point I'm making is learn what a source is, and then learn what circumstantial evidence is.
You learn what a source is.
Sounds like a good time to move on. All right, thank you, Darth. I appreciate you, Clay. I'm actually surprised what you got for us.
Oh, don't be surprised. Me and Gibbs don't agree on a whole lot. Hope my mic is it too. Yeah, so I need to lean in. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my mic right now, so I'm gonna try to lean in.
I'm gonna switch microphones. I'm gonna walk away, but I can't hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Hopefully I don't get yelled at though. In all seriousness, please don't yell at me, Gibbs.
I'm gonna yell at you.
I'm doing like this the whole time.
And, as long as you don't tell me that I said something and I didn't say it. Whatever. I've heard 3 times already.
I'm actually gonna say this. I was wondering what model you're using for your political theory here, because I'm not finding it like what you're saying on like the standard model or any of like the other models. So I'm kind of wondering how do you model your left right? Is it left right only? Is there like an axis where it goes X, Y? Is it D'Souza?
Are you talking about my model for like what I determine is left and right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, exactly. Politically.
Well, I mean, first of all, I would say that the left-right dichotomy is a circle more so than a straight line. Because if you get too far to the left, eventually you start sounding like a libertarian, and vice versa. And it's kind of like we do this thing. Like, for example, like if you look at weed, libertarians want weed legalized because of individual liberty. We don't want it. And then you have socialists like in North Korea that want weed legalized for different reasons, but they're socialist reasons. So you have this kind of dichotomy goes together. You also have the top down, which you have the class dichotomy. So like when we talk about Trump being a populist, that's an up down. Just the left right page. You also have you can also graph it where you have the giant graphs. You have this authoritarian and right leading streak, and then you have economic policies. So those are 2 different ways you can graph it. I would argue as far as political. As far as are you asking specifically why I'm calling the National Socialist left as opposed to So I mean the argument I'm making is that
you get where I'm going with this, because essentially with this your mic keeps going in and out. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it's because I switched here. Where are we good now?
Oh, It's the roll around mic.
We're good now. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So essentially, because I'm wondering, because the standard model doesn't do the doesn't do
Right.
that. It doesn't. So I know D'Souza, essentially the way that he proposes things, essentially the way that I understand him, he just essentially takes everything that's authoritarian, governmental, and just throws it on the left. And
That's
everything that's liberty and freedom and capitalism, he just throws it on the right.
He would be wrong if that's what he was doing. I don't think he
That's
does.
essentially what he does.
Well, sure, I would disagree with that as well. I mean, a better way you could look at it, like if you look at like a military junta, which is a dictatorship, and oftentimes, which is a military dictatorship, most of those are right leaning, right? You also have like the Lord's Christian Army. They're not a government, right? But they're a big, powerful terrorist organization, right? They would be like right leaning authoritarian, right? There are plenty of examples of right leaning authoritarians all throughout history. That's not what I'm going. The reason I'm saying that these are leftists is, and the reason why the lefties have this, are able to argue that Hitler and Mussolini and fascism is right-leaning, is because fascism, unfortunately, left-wing fascism in the 40s and 30s was left-wing, right? However, fascism has this tendency that once you get in power, you lead through the military, and then it becomes authoritarian, and it starts to lean right-wing. Now, the difference is, though, with Hitler's socialism is that they actually pushed the socialist economic policies. What they did that was smart, right, is that they did it through the party, right? This is why the people over here, like Effigy and them, are arguing that he privatized things. Yeah, he did privatize, but when I went through the policies earlier, what he did was he got rid of small entrepreneurships. He made deals with businesses too big to fail. He backed those, and then he implemented state control. So although they might be in control privately, they actually had no power, which is state leftist control, and he implemented price controls, et cetera, et cetera. This is all things I fucking went over in my PowerPoint. This is all things the several economists went over. This is the same thing the economic historian stated. So the idea that they aren't left-wing is actually a fairly new thing that starts happening around the 60s. And that's whenever we see Operation Paperclip really go into full effect with Otto von Braun and the rocket program and the race with the USSR. And we see, what's his name here? I'll pull up his name right now. I just looked it up. His name is, God damn it, is Shiro Ishii. And if you know anything about Shiro Ishii, he founds one of the first major biopharmaceutical companies in the United States. So what we did was we had these evil fucks, and the government, because the U.S. government has never done anything shady like rebrand evil people before. I mean, ever. They've never done anything like that. Is they've rebranded these people, and like tried to kind of paint a softer image, especially when they had Democrat liberals like JFK that wanted to get to the moon at all costs. You don't want to say you have the Nazis running NASA. Right, but you actually have the Nazis.
Let me ask you this: do you see any form of socialism sitting on the right?
Sure. I mean, I would argue that Trump is, in some ways, has some socialist tendencies. I would argue that there are social democracies that are like a cross between. They have socialist things like the Nordic country, the Nordic models, where they're social, like capitalism. But I would argue that the difference between those is, like with Nordic socialism, right, where it's a capitalist thing, they have like one industry that's privatized, and then it funds a lot of programs. Like Texas does something similar, right? We have oil. And we take the money, the tax from that at the tap, and it funds the higher education in Texas. Everything goes to Texas A&M or Texas UT, and then whatever is not spent by those two schools goes to the rest, right? And that would be socialistic in nature in some regards, right? However, and that's right-wing socialism in some way, but that is the way they do it and implement it is much different. They're not like making the Exxon join the Texas Republican Party or they're not going to be able to work here, which is what the Germans did.
One more, okay. Do you see capitalism being on the left at all, or is there any use in on the left side of the model for capitalism?
Well, right. Well, absolutely. Here's the scary part about the socialists, right? Is they absolutely have to use capitalism, right? One, because socialism doesn't work in a post-scarcity society. That's a whole different debate. But two, if you look at China, which is a good communist, they have a hybrid economy, right? So they are trying to move towards. They tried really going far left. Didn't work because two reasons. One, I think it's bad. We're not post-scarcity. Two, the global system is capitalist, right? So if you're trying to be a major country, you're going to have a hard time doing a full socialist thing where the entire world globe is capitalist in nature, right? So they have moved towards a hybrid economy. And in Germany, I'll give you an example. Yes, they're socialist, but they still had a hybrid economy of sorts because they couldn't implement full socialism until they conquered the world, right? So this is kind of the battle.
I'll say this for my closer because I'll let the rest of the panel go, but I want to say this essentially. Like I believe that a lot of the issue comes in the modeling. I believe that your model for you works because you've examined, all of these different ideological, political platforms, and you've plotted them according to where they sit in I believe socialism and capitalism, and where they meet on that spectrum. You're kind of pointing that there might even be an axis there, because if it's a circle, that means it's a graph, right? And let's say that one outside of the middle point, you can reach like one, right? That would be the totalitarian of the whole circle, but somewhere on that plot point exists. That's where I was kind of going with all of this.
I mean, you could absolutely be like a benevolent socialist as well. I mean, that's not like there's all sorts of different versions of these things. Like, and this is the problem I have when they talk about, like, if you look at Strasserism, which is a form of Nazism, Strasserism is significantly different than what the Nazis push, right? And Effigy argued that, he killed the socialists. Well, Goebbels argues in his diaries that they killed Strausser and his brother because they are like not the same sort of socialists they are, right? And so my argument would be, yeah, that's fine, and you can argue about the graphing. The issue that I'm having is I think that the left has co-opted the academic system, and what they've tried to do is reframe what things are. Right. And so when we're talking about this, and this is why when I'm talking about my graph and all these things, I try to talk about verifiable economic policies that we can look at. And so when we look at certain things that are inherently socialist, like state control of the economics,
sure,
this is what they do. They don't necessarily, you might own that business, but if you don't own if they own you, then you're not really a capitalist.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of where I was kind of going with the final there is like we can agree what is and isn't good, right, for society, right? We'll do moral, ethic, principle, whatever. But I also kind of agree with the ability to graph it out, because a lot of people work with the visual aid. And so I think it's beneficial to do that for some people, because if I don't see it, sometimes I don't understand it. And I believe that doing that,
they would have been like top left on the traditional four-plate graph. They would have been on top left. They would have been on the social. They would have been on the social program. The left authoritarian. They would have been in the same categories like Stalin, in my opinion.
Yeah. So like with the death by PowerPoint. And here's another thing I wanted to make sure to say. That I know you've probably watched a promotional video for how to use PowerPoint and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 things. 5. Remember 5. You've got like 100,000 up there. 5. Remember that. 5. And then also, just to finalize all of this, Darth, that was absolutely horrible timing on the whole joke there. I mean, you gotta really work on that, bro.
Even to your credit though, Clay, Goebbels would agree with you. I should have just used one word on the thing and then talked about it afterwards. So you're right.
True, yeah. but you know what that is? That's propaganda, right? And
I rest like these.
People don't want to read. They don't want to do the deep dive.
Well, yes, and you've accused me of being a propagandist, and what I'm doing right now is showing that I'm showing that I'm not a propagandist by posting these in a manner so that everybody can see the sources and the whole thought instead of just the one word.
I'll tell you, we disagree on a lot of things.
That's fine.
But you're definitely entertaining, and you're very explanatory.
I don't take offense to fighting with you. It's always good times. I know you can take a joke, so that's good.
Well,
all right. I love you, Clay. All right, Spin. Let's get you going. What you got for us, bud?
Oh, I've just got a couple comments. Who was that complete and total fucking idiot that was just up here? Dark or whatever the fuck his name was.
Darth Thoraines?
Yeah.
No,
the DSA is more credible than you will ever fucking be.
DISCRETION's still up here.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, Darth Thoraines was the one that was up here and then left.
Oh,
but
yeah,
so
the AP is more credible than you will ever fucking be. Hi, Gibbs. Second of all, I want to go back to your PowerPoint for just a second, Sarah, if that would be okay. It was the slide.
I absolutely do not want to fucking bring that thing back up on this screen. I just sat through an hour and a half of a PowerPoint and you want me to get it back up here? Fuck no, he can read it to you.
That's fake news. It was an hour on the dot. I finished the PowerPoint at exactly an hour.
It was the slide where the DSA wants to defund the Department of War.
Yeah, that's from Fox News. That guy, he's right. I did get that one from Fox News. But
Yeah,
that was from their interview.
Yeah, right. Well, let's think about how bad that would be. It's more of a comment than a
It'd be bad.
question. It'd be very bad. And then we get rid of the Senate.
Mhm.
How fucking bad would that be?
Well, that's the whole point, Ken. Is that
And what was the middle one? I apologize, Gibbs.
the judiciary?
Yeah. Let's just get rid of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw trillions and trillions of dollars to the migrants or the immigrants or the illegal invaders and whatever else. Let's just bankrupt the country
and get rid of the prisons.
Oh, yes, get rid of prisons. Let's think how stupid. Oh, amnesty, cashless bail. Let's think. We're going to let I want to be careful how I say this, Sarah, obviously. Let's give a PDF file cashless bail.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give a murderer cashless bail. Oh, they don't have to pay anything. Well, you know what? Lindsay Clancy trial is going on right now, and that bitch is still in jail. Oh, she unalived 3 children. Oh, guess what? Let's just let her out. That's the stupidest fucking thing that I've ever heard in my life.
Well, Spin, this is the problem with it. It's actually very intelligent what they're doing. This is why, guys, I want y'all never to underestimate the enemy. They're doing something very intelligent. They know these are bad policies. This is the same thing that Goebbels pushed, is a radical, a progressive thing. And this is why he was friends with the SA up until the moment he wasn't, which is why they wanted this to throw all these different pushes where they were basically like the beer hall push before, then they did a numerous amount of small in order to destabilize the government. They purposely picked fights with communists. They purposely picked fights with Christians and right-wingers. And they had all sorts of battles with the police and all these things in order to destabilize the region, which made people want peace and fucking stability, which led to them turning to the socialists, which is what they do. They create the problem and that themselves so they can be the solution. That's
what is. I mean, okay, we hand everything out, right? We just forget about laws. Where's Clay? We forget about the judicial system because we don't think it's fair. We're going to give pardons to everybody. Oh, you know what? I went out and sold illegal things to people and it unalived them. So guess what? Oh, it's okay. Here's a slap on the wrist. What kind of policy, or what other than people like Effigy and all the other libtards, what is that going to solve? What is that going to say about America? That, let's just come to America. We can do the most heinous crime, and guess what? We got a pardon for it. That's exactly what that slide was saying. Give everything away. Have no consequences for anyone. What does that, in your opinion, Gibbs? Now, this is a question. It's probably rhetorical because you and I think the same way. Why the fuck would we just, I don't know what the right word is. Why would we just give everything away, Gibbs? In your opinion, what's the point?
Well,
what's the point of having any budgets? What's the point in having any get rid of the president? That's the other one. Let's see how that fucking works for you. Guess what? Whenever you've got every foreign nation coming over here and taking the fuck over, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be like North Korea. We're going to be like every other dictator fucking bullshit that we could ever fucking imagine. But this is what they want. They want universal health care. Well, you know what hyperinflation is? Guess what'll happen? Hyperinflation. All the taxes are going to go up because of you fucking morons. That's all you fucking morons. People are. Go look at the talk of fucking tick videos. Go suck off people, whatever. Stop your bullshit and live like a normal fucking American should. Shut the fuck up. I'm done. Spurred over.
Also, inflation was a tool that the Nazis used to gain power. So just throw that out there. After the rampant inflation of the Weimar Republic, they still used it as a tool. So interesting.
Yeah, but Gibbs, one more. I'm sorry, Sarah. Can I have just one more minute, please?
I mean, at this point, why not? But
Gibbs,
make it fast.
What do you? This is an honest question. What are your thoughts on universal health care?
Oh, I don't want to pay for it. I mean, I don't want to pay for it, but I've gotten to the point now. Hold on, you ready for this? This is a hot take that maybe we should figure out all this fraud shit. Because, hey, I think all these welfare programs haven't been getting a fair shake because there's been so much fraud that they haven't been working. Maybe if we reevaluate, when we try them out for, I don't know, a period of 5 years or something, and to see what happens when they're cleaned up, if they work. And then if they don't work, we cut them. I'd be amenable to check it out. But on the surface, I don't want universal health care because I don't want to pay for your grandma, or I don't want to pay for Bob, the fucking stoner that started doing meth and then died. I don't want to pay for that guy. I'm not, if you know what I like to do some blow every now and then off some kitties every once in a while. You shouldn't have to pay for me if I get in the hospital because I railed some fentanyl. That's ridiculous. That should be on me to pay for it, not y'all. I'm just saying.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is there are people out there, middle class people, that are struggling. We have hyperinflation because of some dumbass left-wing libtard socialist motherfucker. They're going to be bitching even more. Then you got the high, or I don't know what the high class, they're going to be bitching. But you got the ultra rich that aren't even going to fucking care because all they do is sit behind a desk for 10, 15 minutes a day and go and drive their fucking Lamborghinis around all fucking day and Rolls Royces. They don't fucking care. If it cost them, it cost them. But what about the little guy? What the libtards and the fucking DSA and the Democrats aren't thinking about is the people that are working 2 and 3 fucking jobs to just have to fucking survive. It's bullshit, man.
Yeah, man. All right, rant over. Kraut to you, sir. And just for the record, to the chat, you will have to maneuver into one big fat red dono on my screen, or we're not moving forward to the gauntlet. I can tell you that right now. We are already up to almost 3 hours, and it's sad where you are. I'm not going anywhere after this, after Mr. Benjamin has his turn. So somebody better unfuck it, or else we can all just go home. Go ahead, Kraut.
Hey, how you doing, sir? How's my mic? Good.
How you doing? Yep, it's good.
Yeah, man, I believe in socialism, man. High taxes, let the government control who works and who gets stuff for sitting on their lazy ass. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. No, socialism is a disease, so I don't disagree with Gibbs on that. However, I like to disagree with other conservatives because people accuse us of being an echo chamber. Gibbs, I have to push back on George Soros thing that you said. Was your claim that he was in cahoots or working with the Nazis?
The claim is, once again, as reported by several different sources, primary and otherwise, The Associated Press has reported us several times. Some they've reported as a hoax. Some they've reported. So it's controversial. However, we do have evidence once again that the Nazis during the time period used the Hitler Youth as well as other youth at that time period to inform on people, and they gave benefits to people that informed. And it's interesting that in occupied Hungary, Soros, who many Jews around him all went down, but somehow he didn't, and somehow he came out smelling like a petunia. Then he suddenly started pushing socialist policies with the money that he's made. This seems like a very interesting coincidence, and so once again, circumstantial evidence and some reporting stating that this may have been a thing. That is what I have stated about Soros.
Right. Yeah. And it was a while since he got brought up, so I just wanted to make sure. I didn't mean for you to repeat yourself. I just wanted to get the claim. So I actually read about it when he got brought it up. So Soros or his father claimed Soros wasn't even his son. It was his grandson. He gave him a fake name, even got fake papers for him. And I think what you're trying to say is the Nazis, a certain person, I forget who he was, he forced certain youths, individuals to hand out papers to like the Jewish community to let them know that all their crap is being confiscated. When Soros's father found out about it, he put a stop to it. And then there was another incident where he had to go with his father for inventory for a Jewish facility. But the Associated Press, you said yourself, there's conflicting evidence. So I wouldn't even bring that up because some say it happened, some say it didn't. However, the Auschwitz, if I'm pronouncing that right, memorial also denies claims that Soros was involved in a positive light. Like he wasn't involved in the Nazis voluntarily. What he did to survive. And the papers he was given out when his father, who he was posing as his godson, he put a stop to that real quick. So there's no concrete evidence.
You would agree that the famous quote that is like, all it takes for good men or evil to succeed is good men to do nothing. You would agree like that the idea that Soros, even his father put it down, Soros at some point did work for these these people that were making him stand on paper. It is strange that other people around him went down while him and his dad, or him specifically when they went to go and review the estate, he somehow escaped like a petunia. Maybe he was a good German. Maybe, but it's also a coincidence that German made a bunch of money off like that shit. So when I'm sitting here hearing what you're saying, it seems like, once again, I don't have enough proof to convict him in a court of law. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's very strange that we have documented evidence of people in this age group doing this thing. We have several documents that put him in the area for some of these things. Now, like I said, there's conflicting sources, but during this time period and also after the war, there's a lot of the Germans, their documents got burned and destroyed. So what do we actually do? Some of it's going to be so like, yeah, sure. I'm not saying that we can definitively prove he was doing this, but it is pretty interesting that all this occurs and then all the policies he pushed line up almost 1-to-1 with National Socialist agenda. If he wasn't a Nazi then, maybe he took something from him later.
Right. So I'll say one more point. So you said you have a lot of circumstantial evidence, right, to support what you're saying?
Yeah, that would be what I'm saying, yeah.
Would circumstantial evidence lead to speculations or proof?
It would probably lead to both. It could lead to both.
No, not really. Not really.
Well, hold on. If say I let's walk through a thought exercise. Say I shot Bob, okay, and my phone happens to be in my truck, and my truck's at Taco Bell, and I shot Bob at La Michoacana, 100 feet away. Okay, now there's nobody sees me shoot him. However, Bob is dead, and there's circumstantial evidence of my phone being in the vicinity. Would you say that could lead potentially to finding other evidence or a conviction, or would that just lead to speculation?
Well, it would lead to other evidence, and it would cause the police to look more into if you were responsible. But speculation evidence in and of itself cannot prove anything.
Would that be used in a court of law?
Speculation evidence alone, no.
No, with the timestamp for the GPS of my phone, if they try to pursue it, would that be evidence they would use?
Well, there's a lot of things when you talk about law in general. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not smart enough to be one. But like I don't know if this is a good example what you're doing right now. I'll just say it is. I don't know how to answer that. But you yourself said you had speculation that leads you to your conclusion.
I mean, I don't have any hard evidence that Genghis Khan actually SA'd all these women, but he does.
Yeah, he got like 1,000 children or something like that.
So like it's I guess they were all consensual then. Like I mean, I don't have direct evidence that he was out here doing the dirty deed against their will, but I mean, I can speculate and probably be correct. I mean, and this seems like that circumstance where the circumstantial evidence points to a story, and then we see the continuing evidence of the policies he's pushed, and they kind of line up 1 to 1. Would you disagree with that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of yielded my time. I just don't think, people should base their argument entirely on speculation claims or I don't even know if that's a word, but I yielded my time.
Speculation.
Speculation. Yeah. I yielded my time. But yeah, capitalism rocks. I'm for capitalism.
Lying motherfucker.
I think Crowd is trying to play the other side for purposes of having a good debate conversation. Jody, go ahead.
Capitalism. It rocks.
You said socialism rocks.
Oh, I did? Oh, no, I meant capitalism.
Yeah. It's okay. All right, go ahead, Jody.
So, first and foremost, thank you, Sarah, for letting me up. Chat, everybody that's watching on all your channels, please dono if you want this dumpster fire to keep burning. Like, subscribe. But I got a problem with Mr. Cribbs. He's spreading bad rumors about my great grandpapa.
Where are we going with this, Jody? Come on. My patience is thin tonight.
Well, I guess for the most part, Goebbels was a bad guy, right? Everybody could agree with that. But he was also a genius. He literally, the Third Reich wouldn't even be a thing without Goebbels.
I agree with that.
And it completely changed the way that war was played ever since. Yeah, I'm not related to him at all. He's a piece of shit. But it's the same thing like Werner von Braun. Without him, what about NASA? You know what I'm saying? He completely fucking changed the way that war was played. Everybody, it's kind of like, I guess,
No, we lost him. Right? Is he still here? No. He's buffering, right? It's not just
he's
me.
Buffering on my side.
All right, Jody, get some better Wi-Fi, bud. Klansman to you, sir.
Yeah, I want to say hello. I want to correct the panel and congratulate all my fellow Klansmen and compatriots here. Because we know that after 1865, after that civil war of the northern invasion of the South, we formed the Klan. And at that point was when the Democrats came forth and started talking about this civil rights nonsense, nincompoop information.
But the Democrats formed the Klan, though.
And then the Democrat, I just
not working, dude.
I just told you. And then they continue on with this homosexual propaganda. And they coming forward, and we expand over there, and them Germans over there, they saw us, and they realized that we got it all figured out over here in the real America. Then they copied us.
He's spitting.
And then after all that, so I just want to say I'm happy to see that the Admiral's on our team.
Oh.
It's good to see other Klansmen like this Angry American crowd over here. We got 4 Klansmen here. So I'm glad to see we got great representation on this panel, ma'am. Thank you very much. I yield my time.
Thank you, Klansman. Saint, did you have anything to add in?
First thing I wanted to say was, Sarah, thank you for bringing me back. I want to say that. Thank you for making me a mod again, and I want to say thank you to everybody that welcomed me back. So I want to say thank you. Gibbs, there may not be any concrete evidence that Soros was a sympathizer, but would you agree that his actions after the war and everything would kind of say that he's more agreeable to the left?
I would definitely say that. I mean, like I've said that several times already. In fact,
yeah. Okay. And then, would you say that America, we kind of do have socialist, maybe programs in our government?
Yeah, unfortunately, absolutely. Now, I do want to preface it. I'm not a libertarian. I do want the government to control and involvement in some shit, right? But yeah, we absolutely have gone too far with some things. Yeah, and it's become socialist in many respects.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all I want to ask.
Yeah.
And so it's
we have lots of socialist programs.
That's all I want to ask.
So. All right.
All right, Jody, finish your thought.
It's all good. I apologize. I got a really bad connection because I'm on fire everywhere around me. So I don't want to drop again. I apologize.
It's a Soros
I just wanted
Wi-Fi.
I just wanted to troll Gibbs a little bit, make it funny because I watched the whole PowerPoint, and I wanted to say he's absolutely right on so many things that I didn't come up here to debate. I came up here to agree that the DSA is exactly how you presented it. I mean, you did go a little radical in some aspects, but I think everybody hates the DSA. Even the hard left doesn't even like the DSA. So I don't really know why anybody would come up here and debate besides your PowerPoint, which I could understand. I could understand the banking system, why people would want to debate that.
Well, the problem is
that,
the lefties don't want to debate that the DSA is social is like the same as the Nazis. They want to say that Democratic socialism. And I posted an interesting status on Twitter the other day. If you go back and if you go read Goebbels' diaries, one of the debates they're having is what they call themselves, how far to go socialist, what that means. And it's interesting that we're seeing Democratic socialists or socialist Democrats, and we have the DSA, and we have variations of this thought where they're arguing about what the future is of the Democratic Party. They're talking progressive. These are the same kind of debates that they had in the 20s and early 30s before they gained full power. And I shared this on Twitter. I encourage y'all to go look. It's probably one of my more recent tweets that did very well. But this is something that's very concerning. And the problem is the liberals have for so long they've sat here and argued that this revisionist history, the Nazis aren't socialists, and then they let the people that are the Nazis in the henhouse, and now they're starting to understand what kind of evil they're actually dealing with. And I'm encouraging the liberals to come out on the side of the conservatives for once and fight this evil. Now, if they don't, they're going to fall apart, and it's going to benefit the conservatives either way. Hopefully, the liberals, I'd rather fight the libs, because at least they're capitalist in some degree, as opposed to the full-on evil socialists on the other side. But if they lose, it's still a W for the Republicans. But like I said, it's not as big a W as if we get rid of the socialists and then have to deal with a weaker liberal Democrat Party.
I'm not red or blue. I'm kind of in the middle.
Sure, that was
the
a
way
really
that I see it is the ironic thing is they are calling us the hard right fascists, and then we are calling them, I guess you keep calling them liberals, but they're really just far right. I don't know, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But at the end of the day, why are we all just fighting over the same fucking shit? I mean, this has been going on time and time again, kind of like how you pointed out in your PowerPoint. What's the common denominator? It's a power grab.
I mean,
I apologize. I negate.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, though, a lot of things have changed since the Industrial Revolution. Once the Industrial Revolution occurred, that led to World War I, right? Then we restructured the great powers. That led to World War II, and arguably World War II which led to the Great War, like Cold War between the United States and USSR. USSR. And with the falling of the USSR, we've entered a new realm, which is why I keep talking about this global dynamic power shift and return to multipolarity. And now we're trying to make hemisphere changes. And the scary thing is, this is very reminiscent of what happened pre-World War II, right? After World War I. And I think it's because the tech is advancing faster than the culture is ready for. And so this is a major issue, in my opinion, as well as there not being any great offset power to the United States, while these other powers are pushing hybrid agendas because they can't deal with the United States directly. And I think these are all products that are leading to maybe a third World War or something, but it's leading to the rise of the socialism in the United States that we're seeing currently and across the world.
Man.
Yeah. Everybody good? All right. Well, the donations absolutely suck.
Sorry for the lag.
Tonight. That's okay. Your donations sucked absolutely big balls tonight, so no gauntlet for you, ladies and gentlemen. What I will do is I'll give you 15 minutes to unfuck yourselves. 15 minutes. And if you don't, I'm getting the fuck out of here. In the meantime, I'm going to let Ben go ahead with his thoughts. And we'll see what happens. Go ahead, Ben.
My first thought is, hail the All-Father. Thank you, Howard. And my second thought is right along that same lines. Did you literally say that the Odin's Wain, which is what the swastika is derived from, is from India?
No, I said that there are some that talk about it being from Iran.
Well, some people say real dumb shit. Some people think boys are girls.
Well,
I can't help that.
You would agree that Iranians, eventually, arguably, some of them become the Vikings, correct?
That Iranians became, well, yeah, that's debatable. That's something that Omar talks about with the blood types.
Sure.
There's a lot of debate on which direction that went. There's a whole nother group of thought that says that it derives from Ireland and moved south. And there's quite a few different eras of monolithic things that they can point to in order to say that.
I mean,
nonetheless, the German part of the move with Germany is the German young, especially the young men, were very disempowered, disenfranchised from the system. And so there was a real desire for a resurgence of national pride in their homeland, pride in their culture. And so this was part of what was implemented in the system that was used to drum up the support for them. Now, in saying that, I noticed that all of your comparisons were entirely on the financial functions of things. But when I look at the system that we're seeing today, when I'm overlaying it, I see a lot of those same tropes being used on the right wing. Mm-hmm. And the right wing being the one that carries those tropes. I also see things like the transsexual, the agenda, the books that were burned by the party, especially at first, were mostly about that kind of thing. It was a very, in all other aspects outside of the financial. And we've got to understand that the financial, after the Treaty of Versailles, Germany was put under horrible restrictions. There's a reason that those young men who the reparations, those young men had nothing, and there's a reason that kind of thing was a selling point for them on the financial side. So I really see a mixing of the two systems in our system, but I can't see where you could just straight point to the left and say that they're just like that, when honestly I would have to overlay components of both, almost like the Clintons, where you're like fiscally Nazi but also socially Nazi. Is that the deal right here?
Well,
the
no,
right Nazi.
firstly, in response to the thing, once again, the Indians did use it extensively. The Iranians also used it, and arguably they may be Aryans. And sure, the Nordics
Did Hitler try to have a resurgence of the Indian culture in Germany? Or was it
I would argue, sure, the Indians, the Iranians, and the Nordics all use it, and they all mean fairly similar things across the culture.
Like, did they have? Is the SS runes and the Othala
that's all Nordic. I would agree that's all Nordic. I don't know what that
was that all built into that culture? Was Germanic culture that they were trying to bring back to Germany?
I agree with that. Yeah, a Germanic culture. It was an idea of the Aryan race. Which a lot of their stuff is similar to the Iranian Aryan and the Nordic Aryans. Yeah, both of those are similar. They did take some of the concepts from India, right? Because India did have that
particular concept
concepts that Hitler implemented. A lot of those, the cult. There are numerous examples, especially with Himmler, where they takes ideas from Indian mythology and Indian spirituality, as well as Far East mythology. Now, I mean, I don't really know that that's really going to refute anything specific, but yeah, sure. I mean, I'll grant that they're mostly Nordic Aryan white symbols, and they were trying to push the idea of Germanic, a return to a Germanic race. Absolutely. I also did talk about actual policy, and I talked about this in the opening pretty heavily about how it's not just an economic thing, how they wanted to control your life to the point where you may be a citizen, have private ownership or something, but the state owns you culturally, right? They want abortions, they want to be able to eliminate undesirables in your society, like the people with Down syndrome. They're going to kill those people. This is something we know that they implemented welfare, but for socialist control reasons, right? When they have a medical system, one of the things they do, if they find out you're going to have Down syndrome, they find out you're disabled, they killed you. Right. This is the point on purpose, because what they're doing with this, that's not an economic policy, although it does have some economic benefits to it if you're just looking at it from a purely standpoint. However, they did that purposely for the culture change and the societal changes, which is a socialistic change. Right. So they're doing this from a social politically, and they're doing it as social economic policies. And so that was a fundamental part. Maybe I guess you missed that, but those are two key aspects of this, and why I'm saying as a whole they're socialist, not just economically. And it's pretty important that you talk about the culture aspect and the way they wanted to control the lives through propaganda and policy.
Did you literally go to money that was given to people and then say not economic?
No, I said when I say that, say I have a Down syndrome kid, if the government forces me to kill him, is it going to be easier for me financially or not financially if I don't have to take care of this disabled individual? Obviously, it's going to be easier. That's a side benefit that's economic, but that's not their main goal with that policy. Their main goal was to implement
100% the goal with that policy.
No, their policy, you just said it. Their policy was to bring back a more powerful Germanic Aryan race. They believed that anybody that was weaker was not part of this, and thus they wanted to control your life culturally and socially and force you to kill. It had the side benefit
and financially, because that child will
and financially, socially and all three.
That child will never be productive.
Right, so it covers all three of that through a socialist lens. Yeah, so yeah, I agree.
You seem to fail to notice all the other ways that the social is entirely our right wing, and that lays over one for one socially.
How is any of that? Do you know very many right wingers that want to kill Down syndrome kids for like economic reasons or for political reasons? Is that a right wing take, or is that a leftist authoritarian take like that the communists use?
No, that's an actually a very old take.
But it is a very
especially in countries that were just recently extraordinarily broke. They tend to not be real heavy on wanting to have extra loads put onto their economy. Especially, like I said, you can't underplay the Treaty of Versailles and the fact that they broke the entire German people for the entire duration between World War I and World War II.
Yeah, that absolutely. I'm not bringing that. That absolutely is the whole reason the Germans were able to take power. But just because, hold on, do you disagree with the statement that because I do something politically for a social or cultural change, there might be effects that happen economically because of that?
No.
So if I if I wanted to say I think weed smoking is degenerate, and I wanted to ban it just for the degeneracy factor, would there be economic outcomes from that arose from me banning it for religious and cultural reasons or something like that along those lines?
Very, very, very mild ones, not ones that are going to affect the general populace.
Well, that's interesting because Dan Patrick in Texas just eliminated a several billion-dollar industry with getting rid of the hemp and weed farms because he did it for religious and cultural reasons, and it happens to have massive effects, crashing Texas businesses all over the state. So I disagree with you vehemently when you say something like that. We can absolutely affect the economy and this is from the right wing right here, talking about how they do something socially and crash something because they economically.
Are you really pretending like fucking crashing smoke shops that are hawking kratom is somehow like some giant effect on the fucking economy? Because that's what you just pretended.
No,
like,
I'm not
like to play these word games, but don't
that's
play
not
them
what I'm
with
talking
you,
about.
bro.
So clearly you don't understand why it's crashing the economy, because hemp is the big gain. The hemp farm bills were destroyed, and hemp by itself, because the byproducts from hemp, not just the weed ones you can buy in the smoke shop, but the things like you can make synthetics out of it, you can make paper out of it, all this other, that being gone is a major
part of the problem.
Right, but
The
no, I'm not talking about
synthetics is part of the
weed. I'm
problem.
talking about the hemp industry as a whole. Yes, that portion of the smoke shops, that's probably several $1 million. That's a drop in the bucket. The industrial uses for hemp being annihilated because the hemp farm bill is gone is a major economic blow to Texas and the economy as a whole. And that is a direct result of the war against the smoke shops. That was a side effect that these hemp industry people that weren't doing the smoke shops people got hit with. Do you disagree with that?
Oh, they definitely, well, whether they intended to have that collateral damage or not, I guess we could argue about that, but definitely they're collateral damage without a doubt.
Right, and you would agree that it's because of a cultural social reason, right? He doesn't like weed. He doesn't like weed smoke. He doesn't like freedom. Yeah, okay. So if he's eliminated it for that reason, and then these other businesses take a hit financially because they're in associated industries, even if they're not with it like that, that's a financial devastation.
In no way, shape, or form is that gonna affect Texas's overall economy.
I mean, you just removed several $1 billion from the market. Yeah, it's going to affect it.
The cash
not in a good way.
The cash crop growers are going to grow other cash crops.
What are they going to grow? Are they going to grow coastal? There's no money.
I don't know what your particular cash crop is in Texas. I'm not from Texas. Cash crops are different everywhere.
It was grain, and guess what happened to the grain market? It got crushed by the corn market because corn subsidies in the corn market crashed. Now, and corn is bad for the ground. So guess what? They can't grow the grain. So what do they try to replace it with? Cotton. You know what cotton's also really bad on? The ground. And that takes a long time to sit here and rotate. And so guess what? They switched to hemp, which is not as bad on the ground and much quicker and easier to make a turnaround on. And when you have the cash crop of hemp be totally devastated, you're going to kill all these mom and pop farmers that aren't owned by, I guess it's Bayer Pharmaceuticals now, when Monsanto sold out. So not only did Dan Patrick destroy local mom and pop farmers, he played right into the hands of big tobacco and big alcohol with this policy. And maybe argue that's why he did it, but he argued that he was doing it for religious and conservative reasons. So yeah, I would argue that cultural policy can absolutely destroy economic policy, and this is a product of where the welfare was destroying economics for the purpose of culture as opposed to for the economic reason in that case.
Hold on, did you just cry around about the subsidies, which is what the farm bill really was, and then say the subsidies is what's ruined the grain markets?
Yeah, the subsidies absolutely ruined the grain markets. The farm bill, it was a subsidy, but the bigger issue with the farm bills was allowed the growing of hemp, but it was outlawed before.
Nonetheless, all of this is just an obfuscation in order to get away from the fact that socially it was entirely right wing. Like I said, including the books that they're burning, the return to national fucking pride, the return to fucking actual family structure, all those social things. While I can agree with you financially that they were doing social, the reasoning behind it, I might not agree with you so much on, but then socially, it's entirely a right wing propaganda. And you're trying to avoid that with this entire spiel that in little trip around the merry-go.
So can I read you something
that you just took?
Would you agree Joseph Stalin is a left-wing communist?
Would I agree? He's I didn't hear you over the call.
A left-wing communist, maybe the most famous left-wing communist, Joseph Stalin.
Yeah,
Okay, Joseph Stalin. This is his view on families, according to Changing Soviet Family Values, 1920 to 1930s. This is from them. This is what he said about families. Joseph Stalin viewed family as a vital tool for state stability, reversing early Bolshevik experience by promoting traditional family values, outlawing abortion, and rewarding large families to boost Soviet population. So we have the most left-wing dictator in history pushing traditional family values.
Are you pretending like they didn't have a complete collapse of their economy because they lost all their young workers and didn't have to do that? Like they didn't. Like I don't care whether it's right wing or left wing or any wing. Like anybody can't figure that the fuck out. It wasn't the party. It was literally we don't have no kids to do the work.
I mean, if they wanted to, they could have just made breeding farms. Instead, he fucking pushed the traditional family value. Why is it that these left-leaning leaders like Stalin push traditional family values? Same with Hitler and Goebbels.
Why would you spend the money to have breeding farms when people will just do it for you? And then they take care of the kids and pay for them and all that.
Having traditional values
that makes zero sense.
Well, no, I mean, you're really proving my point whenever you're saying, oh, this is inherently right-wing, except then the leftist government does it in order to get shit done because it's effective. That doesn't really prove that it's a right-wing take. That proves that anybody can do this, and the lefties will use it. And that's why
I don't disagree that can be a right or left-wing take. Oh. You keep trying to fucking here we go down the fucking mulberry bush.
You just said this about the traditional right-wing values. I didn't say that.
You keep trying to avoid the overlay that you know's there. So you keep pretending, and then you do this really weird fucking mealy mouth shit where you pretend like you don't see the heart of it, and we go along this little fucking trip for like 10 minutes where you talk a lot. But I do remember.
I'm making good points. No, hold on. You just made the point that these values are right wing. That was your point. Then you just turned around and said,
as a whole. So you're trying to take each one and make these little play games, and each play game is different.
No, I'm just
without recognizing that as a whole, you can overlay it.
Sure, but here's my point.
And that's not as a whole the left wing agenda, is it?
But here's the deal. You're using supposition.
Everything
I'm using hard, concrete historical.
We all know that. Everything after but don't mean shit.
Well, what? I mean, I'm using hardcore, verifiable fact, historical fact. We know Stalin did this. You admitted yourself, Stalin's a leftist dictator, communist. Why would the leftist dictator, communist implement these values through state control if he didn't think they were effective? That inherently means that these values don't necessarily be right wing.
Suffered a fucking collapse through not having kids. It's not because it's a typical fucking left wing fucking value. They kind of learned after a collapse.
How about the idea that they changed in 1936 against divorce? Is that something that's traditionally right wing? Would you agree with that?
They again realized that there was a collapse and decided, oh shit, all these other values, things that were getting pushed, maybe we ought to have them back because we lost our society, we lost our population without it.
I just want to say one last thing. I find it interesting that every time I use historical facts, there's like whataboutism or buts.
I'm actually stating facts also, and you're trying to dance around it and take me around the mulberry bush. I was just tired of going around it. I've had a long day.
Sure. I just agree that these if you're going to use government control to implement these things, that is socialism or communism in Stalin's case. But either way, they're both left-leaning. Tiberius, you're here. Are you done? Were you done, Ballerson?
Yeah, no.
Well, you guys, I'm actually surprised about this. Okay, number one, we got some super chats, I believe, over on Mr. Balderson's side. Stapio says with the Big Ten, you are a soul tomato. Thank you. And Howard sends some love to Ben as well. He says, "Hail Odin!" I fucking love Howard. And Saint says, "Okay, I'm going to do this for Gibbs to take stress off himself." I mean, we don't apply the boots until gauntlet mode, but they sat here. DK Spiracy, you get to have two choices: sing a love song to Clay or get booted for 10 minutes. And yes, this is real. Enjoy. Is DK Spiracy still on here? I think he left anyways. All right, fair enough. Saint, I'll give you back that credit. Darth, I'm giving you the same chance. You can sing a love song to Gibbs or get booted for 10 minutes. This is your choice, one or the other. Choose wisely because I do this to everyone. Haha, enjoy. Now, Darth left as well. So, Saint, you can have those credits back. Stapio with the Big 10 says, thanks, Ben, for introducing me to the tomato panel.
Thanks,
We
Endeavor.
love you, Endeavor.
We love you, brother, and we hope that you and your daughter are doing well. We're all with you.
Oh, yeah, I know. I remember that announcement. Was it last week? That was terrible. And of course, Duck sends a big 20. Sarah, here's your $20 back. Thank you, Duck. Still no kazoo from you. Gibbs, you're still arguing about a country which couldn't afford its own wartime effort and were insane racist. Spook Ben. Seriously? You want to boot Ben?
Crazy.
Random Australian backstage. I think you've been here before, but I'm not 100% sure. But if you can just give me a slight wave. Oh, yep, I got you. You're good. You can go back into Avatar if you want.
Interesting fact I just learned about the Judea calling credit for Clay for $100. Judea calling declaring
Did
war.
Duck get a job or something, or inherit money?
I don't know.
Did you figure out how to work, Duck? Did you drop your nuts?
He dropped his nuts.
Nice. Very good. Thank you, Duck.
Man, he's a supporter of socialism. He got that money from the government.
Quick fact check, though. I looked up the Judea declares war thing while Ben and I were arguing because I was wondering about that because I didn't remember Judea actually declaring war. This comes from a Daily Express article which used the metaphor Judea declares war to describe an economic and financial boycott. The article itself actually detailed trade boycotts and merchant actions, not military maneuvers. So interesting that turned into
what are we talking about, Judea?
Well, before we get into that, if you're watching over on the Raging Tomato, anywhere else, we're going to shut down that site because Duck, of all fucking people, I'm so shocked right now. I'm kind of curious. Maybe Duck's high or something, but he actually sent a big fucking red dono. So
he just sent another fucking one, Sarah.
He did. So I'm going to be shutting down everything else, and I will raid you over to the Gauntlet. We will kick off over there.
Before you send us over there,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say to Duck, in all seriousness, like, yeah, bro, you definitely surprise me all the time. This obviously is another one of them. I'm super appreciative. I know Sarah is super appreciative. We're all appreciative. We get to play tonight. Obviously, that's really, really cool. Really awesome of you. And then a credit for me, which is really, really awesome, bro. And I'm glad you were able to come up to argue with Gibbs, because that was fun to watch as well. We all clash, bro. So thank you. And yeah, and also I want to say this. Yeah, I'm glad you stood up against the kazoo thing. I'm gonna say that because I did the same thing with the yodeling thing.
And Duck also says, save Ben from my own boot. $40 boot credit for the hostess with the most. So I get to boot whoever the fuck I want. I just booting everybody. I'm going to bed. All right. If you're watching over on the Raging Tomato side, we are raiding you over to the Gauntlet. We will see you over there. If you don't know where you're going, catch the raid. Otherwise, look at on YouTube at the Gauntlet Debate. We'll see you there. And I guess I didn't think it was gonna happen. I was like, this ain't happening. I'm going to bed. I got shit to do. I'm gonna get some work done. Whatever. I guess Doc decided he wanted to prove me wrong tonight, huh?
How much more do you got to do in that fucking room? It seems like you've been painting that motherfucker for a month.
I only painted it like once.
When we go to the Gauntlet, can we start with Tiberius? Since you got
yes. Yeah, no, we are, because he popped in next. So yeah.
I don't have anything to add. Gibbs asked me to be here.
Well, I thought you were going to take umbrage with my
That's
take.
what you get for coming.
Yeah,
that's
no
what she
shit.
said. And the Emperor just popped backstage. He's hanging out back there if you want to boot anyone. And yeah. Also, quick announcement. Tomorrow night we have, or I guess tonight now, We have Captain Tazariak coming on. God is a racist. I have informed all of the Christian friends that we've made along the way, so on and so forth.
Cool.
Yeah,
make him a lefty.
That's going to be a wild one. I wouldn't say he's a lefty.
He's not.
He's a Hebrew Israelite. He's the leader of the Hebrew, or he's one of the top dudes in the Hebrew Israelites, right?
A terrorist organization.
I think he's the
Are
number
you
2.
racist?
I
But
think he's the number 2.
also, Saturday night is, what are you doing, Jody? Oh, Saturday night, we are going to have a little Mater Fun members only. If you are a member on the Raging Tomato or the Gauntlet, you will be able to watch. And it's open panel, whatever. We're just going to chill and bring your beverage of your choice, and we're going to have some fun. I don't care what we do. I just don't want to talk politics and religion. Okay. That's my only wish. All right. It is our 16,000 subscriber party and our 17,000 subscriber party. So we are getting a double whammy, which I'm so fucking excited for. Holy shit. And so we're going to do that. And the only thing I want is just we don't talk about politics and religion. And that's it. Because I do this all day, every day. And it's the one day I get to say no. Okay? So I don't care if we sit here with our thumbs up our butts. But we're not doing politics. All right? Okay.
That sounds good. Well, I have something for you, Gibbs. While we're
lean in, Clay.
I have something for you, Gibbs. Unless somebody else wants to chime in, somebody like a lefty or something.
Oh yeah, Tiberius didn't have anything to add, did he?
No. Oh, is Random Australian just got up here too?
And Random Australian.
Tiberius, you don't disagree with any of my analysis of the economic and social political takes of the region and Germany and national. I'm surprised you don't take any umbrage with any of that.
Whether I do or not, I don't care enough to say it.
All right, fair enough.
Hey, Sarah, I'm exiting the panel. I got work in the morning. I don't know what the hell I'm still doing up.
Night, Crow.
Take it easy, Ben. Sarah, thanks for having me. I don't have any closing statements other than the fact that people are idiots if they claim capitalism caused the Great Depression. People are morons if they support full socialism or any type of socialism for that matter. Just read, man. Educate yourself. Capitalism fucking rules. You can't have socialism without capitalism. You can have capitalism without socialism. Go with what works. Lazy people need to get off their ass.
If you want capitalism or socialism, move to New Jersey.
Can I chime in for a sec?
What?
I just noticed that Omar's in the back. I'll give him my spot.
Aw, that's very thoughtful.
Because he went to bat for you today, and Andrew was a little cuck and fucking cut him short.
Oh my! Yeah, I
So I'll
did.
give him
Yeah. Yeah.
That was hilarious, bro. He had nothing. I mean, really, drag.
Lean in, Clay.
Double Fist had nothing. I'm gonna put that out there. Yeah, I gotta lean in. I'm glad Kraut didn't get off when he exited the panel.
That's true.
Oh. All right, Jody, you want me to tuck you backstage then?
He said don't leave, but I think he just deserves his shot because he didn't really get a chance to explain.
He already made a video.
It was a good video too.
That fucking video's hilarious.
It is.
Yeah, the theological strippers. Like, it's fucking hilarious.
I don't know what club he's talking about.
Wait, what are we talking about? Oh, well, I think I'm getting asked about the same thing in the DMs right now. What are we talking about? The Christian strippers?
Right.
The strip club that had no stripper.
Okay. Well, that's crazy. Okay, I don't even know about that. I know how people have been telling me shit, and I've been wondering what they're talking about. I don't know if y'all know. I'm just gonna go ahead. I feel like
Dragon Fist got confronted with his having attended a strip club and getting some titties in his face, and he said he did not. He said there was no girls even in the strip club, and that he just smoked hookah.
It was all men.
Let me just okay. I don't really care. I want to. You know what? Here's a quotable. Y'all can quote me. I know there's some people watching. Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. And I don't give a shit about. No offense to Sarah, you're a lovely woman, Sarah. I love you. You know, I don't really have a problem with Dragon Fist. I don't really have a problem with Sarah. I don't have a problem with Crucible. This is all fucking fight. I care about one thing. That's beating the left and helping Papa Gibbs' fucking finances out. That's, I guess, two things. And I see those really as one thing because they don't matter. Now, I will say what I saw in Vegas, if this is just because this is just crazy work. For the record, I'm a very big degenerate. I like to be a degenerate. It's fun. So when I tell you this, I want y'all to believe me. I fucking hate strip clubs. I find them gross. I don't want to be fucking paying strippers to dance on me, whatever. I know some people enjoy them, whatever. We were offered to go to the fucking strip club because Shapiro had the hookup. And he did have the hookup. Good power patch. And he did us something very nice. He bought us like a couple of hookahs and got us in for free. Very cool, right? Yeah, and there was a bunch of fucking Latinas walking around. Some didn't speak English. Some were very attractive. Some smelled not so good.
Girls?
Yeah, Latina girls.
Is that girls?
Yeah, a lot of women. There was like, I don't know, at least 8 of them.
There was more women than there were patrons there.
Yeah, there was like 6 of us in there total. So like, yeah.
Oh, you mean like every other strip club in America?
Well, listen, I don't know if you know this about Vegas, but, you know, even the shitty strip club in Vegas is not known for not having women. I don't know what y'all are talking about with no women, but there are definitely women. There's only 6 of us there. There's probably like 8 to 12 girls working. So, I mean, at least there was that many women. As far as who sat down and smoked the hookah the whole time, I got lap dances for everybody. I bought like $100 worth of lap dances and gave them out to everybody. And then I sat there and smoked hookah, and I was the only one who didn't get a lap dance as far as I know. So, I
didn't get one either. I gave my tickets to the boys to
Well,
use.
that's on you. As far as I know,
The truth.
Yeah, and everybody got lap dances as far as I'm aware. I guess maybe Sarah didn't, but I paid for them all, and I'm the only one who didn't get it. Which, once again, as a degenerate, I'm not saying this to make myself look good. You know, well, you're gonna hear why I want to do it because I was trying to save my energy to go to Omnia and fucking hang out with a bunch of fucking models and shit. So I got overruled.
He didn't want to blow his load.
Yeah, I didn't want.
He's an old man. Come on, man.
You're right. Well, I didn't want to blow my load at the strip club. I wanted to blow my load in a bitch, and so. When we got too tired from that shit, and I went to bed, I was very disappointed. So I can tell you unequivocally, there were many, many strippers there of varying quality. Most of them were attractive, and they were giving out lap dances, I guess, to all the dudes for sure, because I for sure saw every guy get one. I guess I didn't really pay attention to Sarah. I just assumed she got one because, you know, they're all sitting by the stage at some point or talking to the host, except for me. And because I was smoking the hookah and just fucking enjoying myself, getting ready to leave because I wanted to go see.
I feel like it does a disservice to essentially not advertise good service, right?
Well, I'll tell you what it really does a disservice to. This really does a disservice to my fucking degenerate rep. When I'm the one saying I'm the only one who got a lap dance, and everybody thinks of me as the ultimate degenerate. So I just am saying I have nothing to benefit from my chat, from y'all's chat, for lying about this. And once again, I don't know if this fucks anybody over. Don't really give a shit if it fucks anybody over. But now I'm getting DM'd about this by a whole bunch of people, and it just happens to coincide with all y'all talking about it. So that's the facts. And if anybody wants to argue with me about it, so be it, but I also don't give a shit about any of this because this is not the battle I want to fight. All this fucking crucible, non-crucible, Andrew, Sarah, Dick versus Little Dick versus Jesus. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. This is not my fight. I care about my fucking money, and I care about the goddamn socialists taking over this fucking country, and we're worried about the bullshit right now. So that's my fucking 2 cents.
White Knight confirmed.
Yeah, White Knight confirmed. That's White Knighting, boys. Woo, we got a wild definition of White Knighting, I guess. I don't fucking know.
And backstage, we've got Shaman and Lone Wolf hanging out. All right, Random Australian, did you have some thoughts about socialism? Good, bad, ugly?
No, it's cool. Either way, the other people can come up then. I just got peace for everyone. Peace and respect for everybody that gives respect back to everybody because we're all people. We all got, like, you know, the same emotions. We need food. We need the sun. We need water. So anyway, thanks a lot. Have a good time.
Except socialist.
except for socialists. And Garage Lift One sent the big 20, already kicking us. I will apply that to the dono goal. I didn't put the dono goal on fast enough, but I will recognize it as an add-on to the dono goal. So thank you. You are already 2 in out of your 10. And Emperor, what you got? Socialism, good, bad, ugly.
Well, I'll go ahead and just open up with this. It's so funny that you have this topic because I kind of did something similar on my live just a moment ago. The question was, is it America versus the world or East versus the West when it comes to culture? So this is something I'm thinking about. A lot of the Eastern cultures, they're all socialist, communist, and, you know, Islamist, and all these ist, and they're Marxists, and all these ists and isms. Over here in the West, we kind of put those ist and isms to the side to live in a more cohesive kind of way where we can get along with each other no matter what ism or ist you are. Now, they don't like this. The ism and istist don't like the fact that we're over the ism and isms and the istist. We're over it. Here in America, we are people. We are the people. And our government serves us. And we have allowed the government to put a strap on and bend us over multiple times. And I'm over this shit. And any of you that are going to continue to take this from the government, you're not American.
And I'm proud to be an American.
Most people are afraid of Americans. Period.
Because we're the business. We're the bee's knees.
We are the most powerful country in the world, the globe, whatever you want to call it.
Because we have common sense.
Flat spin.
And if we lose common sense, we're gonna lose the war.
Well, here's what I see in my take on that. The rest of the world wants to conform, or wants us to conform to their ideology, and that is the problem. We will not.
Can I pose a question? When you say East and West, and we say, you know, I listen to everything you says, good, but when you say East and West, how do you dictate what's East and West? Like East
and
from
that's
where, and West
why,
from where?
yeah, that's why I started
you're
with
from a desert or not. You.
No,
yeah, all I was
saying we have desert, and
well played, Mr. Balderson.
That was funny.
Except
Well
1/3 of
played,
America's desert, isn't it? What do we have all
Well,
over?
That's
not even about
either.
that.
That's like Nevada and shit.
Okay, it's America.
Hey, Omar,
I live in the desert, sir. Okay.
Hey, Omar, check this real quick.
Yeah,
the main question was: is it America versus the world,
I got you. I'm just.
or
posing
is
a
it the
question.
West versus the East? Because I
No, I
believe
got you.
America is the face of the West, and
I got
everybody's trying to put the Western culture solely on Americans, and they want to group in Israel and whoever is our alliance. They want to group them in as Western, but a lot of them don't even have Western beliefs. If you look at Islam or Israel, they have Eastern beliefs because they're from the East. That's not really West.
That's where I'm going. That's why I'm trying to pose a question to add on to what you're saying. So when they said East and West, originally it was from wherever Rome was, and then it moved to England, right? So when we say Middle East, from England, right? And the question is, when we say the isms and the ists, but what about Americanism, and what about what about capitalism and capitalists and Americanism, right? And so this is the thing that regardless of anything, we don't escape the isms and the ists. We just apply our own, and we don't apply it to ourselves. Over there, they're not applying it to themselves either, you know. So
They
over
are.
there. No, they're not. They're over. You think a Muslim calls himself an Islamicist? No.
They call themselves religious. All they do is they basically are being hypocritical. They're trying to put labels on us that belong to them to make us demonized.
That's what we're doing too. That's what I'm trying to say. Where everyone, brother, what I'm trying to say is everyone's doing it to the other. We have names and titles. To the Romans, anyone who was not Romanized was a barbarian. You get it? So, and then those barbarian countries would be France, Germany, England, and now those became the elites, and everyone else is barbarian. The question is what exactly does America mean, and are we redefining a new version of what it means for us, or are we adapting and continuously keeping the old way? You know what I mean? Like, are we letting other countries such as Israel dictate what we are? That's the question. You know what I mean? And I think that's
I
the
know what you
problem.
mean.
Yeah, I think
So
that's what's happening.
I'll touch on that a little bit too, because let's say that we are being influenced because as Americans, we are international, or we accept international people. We have them come here and we have conversations with them. We accept their culture. But if their culture is not aligned with ours, that's where the clashes happen. Now, is it becoming the East versus the West? Let's say their culture on the East. We can take China, for example. When Chinese people come here, do they act like China or do they act like America? We'll leave religion out of it.
Yeah, some do, some don't. For all of them, I agree.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying, like, is it the East versus the West? But here's another thing. Why would they come all the way over here to implement their stuff if they have a perfectly fine place to do that at?
Because America is the best country that has ever existed to date.
But why would they want to change that? That's what I'm asking. Why would they want to come here and make it like their country?
No, it doesn't matter what.
This is right up there with they hate us for our freedoms.
No, they hate us.
So it is America versus the world then.
They hate us. They hate us because they ain't us. You mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
No.
They can't have it. Nobody can.
I never agreed with Effigy whenever he just said last fucking panel he agreed with me. Now he said
no.
What was
now
this
I'm
answer
agreeing with
to?
him.
What was this answer to, Garage? Does anybody know what this answer was to? Yes.
No.
America versus the world.
No,
maybe.
This is the thing, though.
Effigy,
it's a false dichotomy.
Effigy was on my mind. The Emperor came in and like totally made the prompt into this. He's like, that's just like the thing I was just talking about, and then started talking about the thing he was talking about and totally switched the prompt.
Yeah, it's
a good question.
Well, I mean, socialism.
He's right. It's nothing
Isn't
like what
that
you
an
were just
Eastern
talking
thing,
about
though?
at all. What Gibbs is talking about is
you mean
nothing
Karl
like
Marx,
what
that
you're
famous
talking about.
Eastern philosopher?
It kind of ties into it because
Has
the
nothing to do with-
ideologies, when we say, like, for example, when we say socialism, communism, fascism, those are all old things that have nothing to do with America.
DSA have anything? How does the
Well,
DSA have anything to do with any of this?
Well, they want to give everything the fuck away, Jody.
It is a political
Eastern
party
culture
in the
to
United
America.
States,
That's
so
wrong.
it's U.S.
See, here's where you're mistaking
Yeah, I guess
something.
so.
Here's what you're mistaking something, right? China, although they have a long 5,000 year history, they have collectivist principles throughout their stuff. Unfortunately, communism is a Western creation. Marx is one of the originators of it.
True.
Socialism is a Western creation. These things spread from the West to the East, and then they morphed. Communism under China is different, is Maoist, and they have a hybrid economy. They maybe add Chinese elements to it. Juche is even further. They've adapted it, turned it more Eastern. However, the principal thing we're talking about, if you're talking about the DSA, I'm arguing not that they're Eastern. And I'm arguing in the Middle East, yeah, they might be Mid-East, but they're heavily influenced by Western. Effigy is correct when we talk about Israel being a colony of the West, right? These principles, they're being pushed by Western philosophy. It just so happens it's evil Western philosophy in the socialism, right? That's the issue. The DSA is a Western creation, and China, since socialists want to subvert the American system, like you're talking about, they are using the DSA, and the DSA knows this, and they're openly okay with that because the DSA are actually socialists, and they want to disrupt and destroy the American economy and the political system as outlined in their plan that they put out forward. So, yeah.
Okay, let me ask a question.
Real quick, Gibbs, even if I agree with everything you said, you have to also remember the foundations of the three religions, those were all Eastern. So even if those social structures and governmental structures were Eastern, from democracy in Greece to socialism or communism in the Eastern creation, the religions, if America is a Christian nation, Christianity came from the motherfucking Middle East. So that's Eastern.
Sure, I'll grant that. I mean, there's definitely
That's a
crossover between
foundational.
the two.
That's what I mean. We're going to keep getting in this East-West paradigm, and then we
Thank
forget
you.
the only thing to talk about is what America should be and should not be. That's the
And that's why I keep saying America versus the world, because it's not about East or Western. It's not about ideology. It's about, are we going to allow America to not be the place it is?
Well, if Israel's a colony, would we let Puerto Rico control America?
But they group all that into America. All that's little Satan, big Satan. It's all America, right? No,
I would agree with that. Yeah,
that's the framing. Listen,
That means
Iran,
rebel, by the way.
listen, man. We go over and travel the world. People in fucking Jordan aren't walking around thinking about like, I wonder how we can become American or how we can take over America. The majority of the world is just trying.
They're too weak.
I just use Jordan as an example. I don't think like if Iran was trying to like take over America, you know what I mean? It's like, let's get over ourselves a little bit. Like the whole world's not trying to fight America. We have a real enemy in China.
You don't think so?
Nah, bro.
But if we got China enemy, Russia enemy, Iran enemy, African enemies, Islamic enemies.
No. Emperor, no, because they're not interested in the land, right? It's socioeconomic. It's not land. Like they're not trying to take over. They just want our stuff.
They envy us. Envy
for now
is different.
No, for always.
Well, no, it starts with our stuff, but then how do you like once you get here? You have to get here to take our stuff. Like, and then once you're here, like,
not if they can, not if they can dupe you into a stupid deal.
Yeah, like Socialists of America.
Isn't envy one of the 7 deadly sins?
So worldly, like
world
government domination, socioeconomic policies, things like that. Which obviously American means very independent, right?
Hand over our military.
Yeah, the idea that they're wanting our land, like that's not really like they have homes that they've already built. They have mansions over there, right? That some of them live in, and they don't want to come over here, like maybe to visit and vacation because we have a free country. But they don't want like if they want it, they know how.
Who are you talking about that doesn't want this?
They're just going to be interested in buying it, purchasing it through our stupid policies. Or socioeconomic policies.
But who are you talking about when you're saying this, though, Clay? Who are you talking about?
Anybody in all of those foreign nations, whether it's China, Iran.
Okay, so if they're
Russia,
screaming "Death to America," then you include them too. They just want to come here to visit.
Who's screaming "Death to America"? There's fucking 5 people screaming "Death to America." Listen. It's real simple. Like this: before the '67, when we financed both sides of the Iran-Iraq war, did we ever have a problem with Iran or Iraq? No, we and England created that situation, Hegelian dialectic. And by the way, Israel was financing Iran. We and England were the ones pushing Iraq. Now we have a problem with Iran and Iraq, death to America. Let's grant that, right? When we go over and fuck around with these different countries, we end up creating people who hate us. This is common. This is fucking normal. When Rome ruled the world, bro, when Rome ruled the world, everyone envied Rome and wanted to be like Rome, but the countries that Rome fucking destroyed and pillaged hated Rome. Both happened at the same time.
Yeah, but it's
so let me ask Vietnam, the world. Any country where we go get involved in, like physically get in there.
Vietnam. You think Vietnam loves America right now?
Yeah, that's called an invasion.
This is exactly why I said earlier that it's just like people hating us for our freedom because it was used as an excuse rather than listening to what Al-Qaeda actually said they did 9/11.
They were asking.
One of my chatters just said it's absolutely America versus the world. Destroy America, and they control the world. Everything. The only thing that is standing.
Let me tell you who's going to help destroy America. Israel is going to play. Our downfall is going to come from within, and Israel as an entity is going to help destroy America from within. Watch.
Well, look, I'll say this right here because this is something that poked out at me when I was looking into Islam and the laws they follow and things like that. And I was looking at the Torah, the Old Testament. A lot of those laws are kind of lining up with the same shit. And I feel like Islam is kind of like a radical version of the Israeli shit.
There is no room for Islam in America. Period.
That's fine.
Well, you gotta think about it. The Jews, they don't believe in Jesus either. And neither does Islam.
Really? Okay, first of all, you don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
Oh, what? Are you talking about the new Jews? The new ones?
In order to be Islamic, you must first be Christian. In order to be Christian, you must first be Jew. This is the way it works. It always works this way.
I just don't understand how my panel turned into a religious day panel. All the people
It's been a problem this week, Gibbs. It's been a problem this week.
My bad. I'll shut up.
You will lose the subject.
Emperor,
I knew it was going to turn into a dumpster fire eventually.
I would like to talk about the DSA and how fucking stupid they were.
Let's go back to
that.
Emperor, Emperor, you need to go look at what you're talking about.
The panel.
2 billion Muslims on earth believe Jesus Christ is the Messiah. He was born of a virgin named Mary, and then judgment comes. Jesus Christ comes back and slays the Antichrist. That's what Muslims believe. So you got to look into what you're talking about.
Are you sure?
Watch this. Watch this. You ready for this? You ready for this, guys? All right. So this what Sean was talking about. This is really important, guys.
That's why I'm talking about the propaganda.
Yeah,
So
right. Yeah. Right. So it's really important because the Muslim Brotherhood also believes this, as the devout Muslims. Here's the thing: the Muslim Brotherhood is a pan-Arab socialist organization with ties originally to the Nazi party. Just exactly because they're Wahhabi. These people we can tie all the way back to the Nazis originally, and this is the argument we should be fighting. The socialists and the Arabs have made an alliance to subvert American power and destroy us from within. I'm so glad you brought this up, Tommy.
Hey, who financed
the Aryan race?
Financed them?
Hallelujah, praise the Lord.
Who created the Muslim Brotherhood, buddy? Who created the Muslim Brotherhood?
Okay,
listen, that's neither here nor there.
Saudi Arabia, and the one that funds them was a letter that starts with I, a country that starts with I. Tell me the name of who funded the Muslim Brotherhood.
I would wager that it's Israelis. You know why they were getting rid of them?
Who made Hamas? What? Israel.
Why did they do that?
Why? Hey, let me ask you. How come Al Qaeda, Muslim Brotherhood, nor Hamas? How come? ISIS, Al Qaeda, or the Muslim Brotherhood have never attacked Israel?
Well, ISIS did attack
because they were all fucking paid by them.
The Muslim Brotherhood, though, they're more of a proxy organization that funds terrorism.
Yes, you know
why? Here's the thing, though.
Israel
they did
actually the other ones.
Well, absolutely, you're correct. Well, you proved my point. Thank you so much for that point. Because Israel funds a socialist pan-Arab organization to fight another socialist pan-Arab organization, the Ba'ath Party. So thank you so much. They are proving once again that socialists love fighting socialists. This is a key aspect.
The Ba'ath Party is not socialist. That's another great example of someone who can name themselves something but not actually be it. North Korea's Democratic.
Why don't you? Well, that's interesting because this is the thing that Death does right here.
When you
look at the Ba'ath Party, I would argue that you would argue. Yeah, I would argue once again the Nazis are socialists. I'd argue the Ba'ath Party is socialist. Here's what's interesting: despite, and I was looking this up, and I was on the phone with Sarah saying this as this is kind of interesting. Is the leftists actually classify the Ba'ath Party as a leftist organization? And then when we go and look at the guess what? Even though they're racist and they hate the Jews and they hate they have socialist and capitalist tendencies, they are left-leaning pan-Arab socialist group. And what's interesting is, we recognize on the left we recognize on the right they're socialists. The left also recognizes they're socialists, but somehow they don't want the nasty baggage of the Nazis, even though they're basically one and the same. It's really called doublespeak.
Gibbs, they're creating that on purpose. What's the most? Okay, look at in the Middle East. Let me ask you. Who is the most leftist country in the Middle East?
Iran.
No,
Israel. They like gay people. Yeah, they like gay people.
You literally just named a fucking theocracy and called it leftist.
You're right.
You don't know what fucking words mean, Gibbs. You don't know what fucking words mean.
Hold on. You're right. That was a misspeak. I thought he said socialist. I would say Iran is a religious theocracy and with socialist tendencies. Leftist, Israel's the most left country.
Listen, let me just finish the second part to the sentence. And at the same time, it could be argued that Israel is also implementing what we would consider today to be far-right tactics in the form of their right wing and the Netanyahu and that party. But at the same time, that's being done in one place, right? So these paradigms are not consistently one or the other in a landmass we call a country.
Can I ask you a question, Omar?
But that doesn't dispute anything I'm saying.
Like specifically, Omar, what you're talking about. Let me ask this real quick because this is very relevant. So as far as Israel, you said they funded the Hamas and all these other people, right? So, and I'm looking at a lot of their religion, and I'm looking at the Quran, and I've been looking at the Torah, and the shit looks kind of similar, at least with the old way. And all I'm saying is Islam seems like it's a.
I can't read it. It looks the same.
Bro, it seems like a radical version of Judaism. It really does.
It's not radical. Listen, let me explain.
And dots. It looks the same.
Listen, Emperor. Let me save you. Let me save you here.
I can explain it in 8 seconds.
Emperor, are you like 16?
The Old Testament, all the religions follow the Old Testament. That's why they're the same. From the Old Testament, the Jews have never had a Messiah. The Christians believe that Jesus was the Messiah. The Muslims believe Jesus was a prophet and then was followed by Muhammad as a prophet, and then will again be followed by Jesus. They all.
I thought it was the Mahdi or some shit. Coming, boys.
Omar's giving him the basic understanding.
Listen, it's like this. The Jews have the Torah, and 3 of those books are the laws. Okay, if you take out the 613 commandments for Jews, take out all holidays, all temple, the basic things that normal Jews supposed to, who's not a priest. 82% of those exact laws, word for word, are the laws in the Quran. The difference So the point is, it's not an extreme version. It is an extreme book of laws. An eye for an eye, cut the hand off, stone someone to death. Those are Jewish laws. The difference is the Muslims take it serious, and the Jews don't give a fuck about it anymore.
And they take it serious in certain areas. I can't say that. Hold on, wait a second.
Stolen 48% of their country in one day if Moses came back.
But you have to think about it this way. A lot of the Israelites, you guys even said it, they like Jesus. So of course they're not going to be on that, right?
What?
Unless they don't like Jesus.
That is not at all what we said.
That's not even.
We said that the Islam
they literally killed
Jesus.
No, well, they say he's a prophet, but they don't reference him as the son of God, though.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay. Let me explain very, very easily. Look, Jews believe a Messiah is going to come and hasn't come. A Muslim believes a Messiah came. His name was Jesus, and he was born of a virgin. Listen, and Christians believe Jesus was the Messiah who was a part of a Trinity in the form of God, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. The only difference between a Muslim and a Jew, a Muslim and a Christian, is Christians believe in Trinitarianism, even not all, and they believe Jesus was God. The Muslims believe the Messiah was never supposed to be God, it was a man, and the Jews believe that man's coming. The person who's coming to the Jews, who's the Messiah, would be who the Christians are going to call the Antichrist, and the Muslims call the Dajjal. Both the Christians and the Muslims believe that Jesus is going to come back and slay the Antichrist, whom the Jews think is the Messiah coming.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think the Antichrist is going to be the next socialist leader that comes to power. That's the real problem.
All you did was verify that none of those religions except Christianity believe Jesus is the Son of God, and that's the difference from Christianity. And Jews and Islam do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God. So that puts them in the same category.
You said Muslims don't believe in Jesus. And I said, yes, they do.
I said no. I said they don't believe Jesus is the Son of God. Period.
Messianic Jews and Messianic Islam. Okay, look, now that we understand the 3 Abrahamic religions, can we actually talk about what
just don't pretend like 20 seconds ago you didn't
because Emperor.
Nah, you must have misunderstood me. That's fine.
In all seriousness, no offense, Emperor, please go do some research to understand what Messianic Jews believe and Messianic Islamics believe. Because if you don't, then you really aren't going to be able to understand this.
Well, the main thing is, hey, Clay, just to get a clear understanding. If they don't believe Jesus is the Son of God and He's our Savior,
there are some that
they
do.
Are not
there are many that do. Yes,
exactly.
There are many Jews that do. There are many Muslims that do.
Listen, I'm writing
and they're putting in put into the Christian category. Is all I'm saying.
How are you not understanding this? This is like the 50th time you've been told there are Islamicists and Jews that believe Jesus was the Messiah.
Yes, I agree.
The Emperor.
No,
hold on
I agree. I claim them as Christians. That's all I'm saying. Those are true Christians.
God, this is so pointless. This is so pointless.
Let me just sum this up in a few words. Let me sum this up in a few words. A Messianic Jew believes that Jesus or Yeshua, I don't know how to say it correctly, but
bro, there's not even a million of these people. It's not even
is the Jewish Messiah and Son of God, combining Jewish traditions with core Christian doctrines, core
That's
beliefs.
like 20,000 people, guys. There's more Satanists than there are those. There's not.
You know what? There's more of the Messianic Jews. The Socialists. That's who we need to be fighting right now. God damn it.
Exactly. I'm with
Emperor, real quick. I just wrote a word in the chat. It's called eschatology. Look up the eschatology of all 3 religions, which is end time prophecies, and you'll get a perfect understanding of the beliefs of each of them. Okay, so that it's eschatology.
I get that. I get that. And all I'm saying is All I'm saying is anybody that believes in Jesus as the Savior and the Son of God, those are the true Christians. That's all I'm
Dude,
pointing out.
100% of Muslims believe Jesus is the Savior. Keep moving the goalposts. Let's move on, guys. I'm sorry.
You're entitled to
Muslim
have
on
your
earth believes
opinion.
Jesus is the
definition of
Messiah
Christian.
and the Savior, bro. Every Muslim believes Jesus is coming back to kill the Antichrist, dude.
It's
You're
like
missing the
saying
point.
all socialists are socialists. They're not all the same socialist.
No, 100% of a Muslim.
That's
For
what I was
example,
trying to
if you
prove
believe
by
Jesus is
reading
the
that.
Messiah,
Right.
then you can't be a Muslim.
That's all I was trying to do. Clay.
That sounds like blasphemy.
That's all I was trying to do.
Effigy, tell us your
I
thoughts.
love coming on these panels and seeing like the like window move in real time. It's very satisfying. I love it. I love it a lot.
Gibbs, I want to congratulate you, man, for being such a good God-fearing man to do such hard work and make sure to do, to look up and find the only strip club in fucking Sin City that has no naked strippers and taking everyone there.
First of all, once
here we
again,
go.
let me reiterate this. I did not want to go to this strip club. I had bottle service and a guest list at Omnia. I got overruled, and we did go to the strip club.
Who didn't go?
You didn't go.
Exactly.
I tell you what, though, these women weren't wearing burqas in the strip club. I'll tell you that. And
that's why I didn't go.
It was also it was like one of the only all nude ones because they don't sell alcohol for the all nude ones. Apparently.
Oh my!
I love my strippers covered.
Yeah,
in
the
burqas.
truth comes out.
Well, hold on.
Fucking
It was
truth
because
comes out.
hold on. Not only because they was full nude, but also because it was 18 and up. So you can't have like the pairing between all of those three things in order to have them full nude. So they had to complement each piece.
Whatever, dude. That whole the whole thing's gay. I made a video when he
It sounds
me
like
and
they
turned
didn't
it
have
down.
a piece on at all, Sarah.
I made a 20-minute video. Anyone who wants to find out my thoughts on it and my challenges, go.
I watched. No, Omar,
just
I
one more last
completely-
thing
I
on this
watched
thing.
it.
Yeah, just one more last thing on this thing. Once again, I at the moment am not taking really a dog in this fight. I just have been asked now repeatedly what happened, and I don't really believe in lying because that's how you get got.
That's the only thing I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying.
No. I'm saying I don't. Yeah, sorry.
Let me give a piece of advice that I've learned in my fucking 14 years around this industry now. As a Halo announcer, as a political commentator, as a total scrublet after I lost my channel and came back, all these different experiences. One thing that you shouldn't do as a content creator is lie and make shit up. Like, I don't like, surprisingly, I know people think I lie and make shit up. I actually don't ever lie and make shit up because guess what happens? It's not hard to find stuff out. Especially if you're a public figure. So, like, there's no reason to lie. So, I'm not lying about any of this. I'm just telling you what happened. And y'all can make judgments about my fucking degeneracy all you want. I openly tell you I'm a degenerate what I do. So, when I tell you this, you know that I'm not lying. And I don't really care whether he's mad at me or Sarah's mad at me or whoever's mad at me because this is not my fight. I'm fighting one group of people, and that's the goddamn socialists. Fuck these bastards.
Gibbs, that's my point. My point was I was listening to a video and I hear someone lying. I'm sitting there. I heard something completely different in reality, and I'm hearing something different on this fucking video, and I just put a comment said that's not what I remember hearing, and then he comes like, but then he moved it, so then he decides to take my picture and decide to fucking dance with the devil in the fucking pale moonlight, and then start playing games. So like I just put my 2 cents in my fucking direct message on that fucking video, and that's that. So he already messaged me, asked me to take it down. He messaged me and said, hey man, let's just take these videos down and call peace. It's
we got like 30.
I'm not at war. I'm just telling the truth, and you're trying to tell me that what I saw is not true.
We got like 30 minutes left, guys, and I really would rather talk about Gibbs's topic than to talk about all this other crap.
Strippers.
Sure. No, I was making a joke.
I know, but I would like to
Nobody
get back to
likes
it since we've already
without strippers. It's a horrible
since we've already
subject.
gone through all of the Abrahamic religions and all of that. I actually modeled I'm hoping I understand your model correctly. That's my main thing, Gibbs, because I want to be able to see it visually. I can understand what you're saying, but I also want to be able to see it visually. So I modeled it. I'm trying to make sure I understand it correctly, where socioeconomics is the primary force or driver for your model, but you're also applying some type of morality and ethics or principles. I want to make sure, is that kind of accurate, or is like, where is the political model? Like, what's the left, what's the right, what's the up, what's the down? You're muted.
You're muted.
You could take this a few different ways. I mean, like, I don't know exactly how the traditional one points it, but like, there's 4 points. And on one side on the left, right, you're gonna have like social welfare programs, social programs, so like anything that's gonna be like government provided kind of programs. That's gonna be kind of left leaning, right? So that's gonna be, we're gonna put like social welfare kind of on the far left. That's kind of like on one side, like so, like where, right? And then on the far right, you're gonna have like tradition, liberty, sorts of things where you're gonna have individual freedoms. You don't want to pay taxes, kind of those are going to be on the right leaning. On the north south, you're going to have like classism, right? You're going to have like oligarchy. You're going to have authoritarianism. You're going to have all these different things where it's like economic or class based at the top kind of thing. But you're also going to have authoritarianism as well. So like say like a socialist would be where they were on the authoritarian side, and then you're going to have the social economic policies. So the Nazis, they're authoritarian, and they're going to have social policies, right? Social welfare policies, government control. The communists, same sort of thing. They're going to be an authoritarian social. Now, like you're going to look at like, I don't know, Argentina, they're going to be on the other opposite, the other quadrant, the far bottom. They're going to be on the right-leaning individual liberty side. They're going to be on the far bottom quadrant because they're pushing individual people. They're going to be arguing for like populism, but like they're going to be arguing for like the people doing it themselves, the capitalist gains with like less regulations, as opposed to like, I don't know, something like oligarchy, which would be maybe a top right quadrant, which you'll have libertarian capitalism, but you're going to have more class control, and you're going to have like hegemony across the board. And then something in the bottom left would be like, I don't know, a socialist utopia, like where you have all these social programs because we're post scarcity, and basically you don't have to work. You have UBI, but then you can do whatever you want because the government is able to control and pay for everything, and you don't have any kind of restrictions on your freedom. That would be, and these are, once again, these are very like, I'd be clear, this, don't take any of these as like hard whatever. These are kind of summarizing for what you're kind of looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I guess the only one that I'm really not finding there is anarchy. Where does anarchy sit?
Anarchy would be directly like in the middle. Yeah, you don't have any of the traits.
Oh, okay. See, that's a very important thing.
It's a transitory state between any sort of government. It would be anarchy.
Okay. So he's reinvented the Nolan chart. Interesting.
I mean, it is basically a Nolan chart, though, right? Like
See, that's what I'm really trying to get at, because the Nolan chart, essentially, it's left, right, up, down, and that sort of thing. So I did the same thing. I did a similar thing. My camera just went out, but I'll be all right. I'll come back here in a second. When I reinvented it, essentially all I did was I put anarchy all the way on the left, because to me, left means liberal, right? Full on liberal would be no government, and then what I did with the right would be just full on authoritarianism. And I think that's what I'm talking about right now is definitions. I know that, but it's very important because your model differs from mine. And I think actually everybody does the same thing with the Nolan model.
But the thing with what I'm saying with
can I interrupt for a moment?
Yeah.
Water Kai's backstage. It's been a while since he's been here. Somebody fucking, oh wait, I have boot credits, don't I?
Yep.
Yeah. You can bring it in.
Who do I want to boot?
Hey, Sarah, I can say goodnight and you can let someone up.
All
just,
right.
Just do your thing, Clay.
Hey, Shaman.
The Nolan model, like, I don't actually disagree with like the centrist part. Yeah, audio Shaman, you say the centrist. You could be a centrist and not be anarchy. Anarchy, I'm just saying.
Hey, we made it.
It's like a centrist state because it's a transitionary period. Anarchy doesn't have any real value. Anarchy is just destroyed. There's no government. There's no thing. It's like maybe even farther to the right in some respects where it's like libertarian, but there's nothing control. Or you could go the opposite way with it. Right? It's a
transitional state.
Yeah, it's a transitional state versus like if you really wanted like an actual center form of government, it would be something like, I don't know, you like maybe the Nordic countries would be like slightly center left because they're capitalist, but then they have socialist elements. Right, so you're gonna have like these kind of countries, these things in the middle. There's no perfect center, but like there's gonna be different variations. Like a center right one would be probably like, I don't know, I would maybe say maybe the Romans would be kind of center right, where you had some state control, but basically had no control over the economy. Right, like I mean, maybe that's not a perfect example, but they're like in the middle. Anarchy is transitional. That's like why I said it's center, because any state can get this anarchy.
that's perfect, bro. Because that's really, I think, where a lot of people, including me, obviously, you know, when we first come on these panels, we butt heads a lot because we're not understanding each other's models. I believe the Nolan model is very useful for how we model it for ourselves, but then we end up modeling it very differently in our own minds, and then it ends up being like, oh, well, you're wrong, because that's not left, that's not right. But I am beginning to understand your model much better with this, and no, I appreciate it. I'm gonna pass it off to somebody else.
Very communication pilled.
Yeah.
Lethy, defend this shit. I'm ready to
What am I supposed to defend? Gibbs is doing his whole anything left of center is fucking Nazis thing again.
I know.
And he knows he's full of shit. And then we're bringing religion into it. So at what level do you want to address this, Gibbs?
Not the religious one, because I don't know any. I'm not talking. Well, I do know, but I'm not talking about none of the religious shit.